Take a slow breath. You do not need to rush. You do not need to think fast. Right now, your only job is to listen. These words are slow. These sentences are gentle. You can sit. You can lie down. You can close your eyes if you want. This is slow English. This is about rest. This is about sleep. Let your mind slow down with the words. Chapter 1. Why rest is important. Rest is not weakness, and rest is not laziness. Many people grow up believing that resting means they are failing or falling behind. They think that strong people never stop, and that successful people are always busy. This belief is very common, but it is wrong. Rest is not the opposite of strength. Rest is part of strength. Without rest, strength slowly breaks down. Rest is how the body repairs itself after effort. Every movement you make during the day uses energy. Your muscles work, your heart works, and your lungs work, even when you are not aware of it. When you walk, sit, stand, or even think, your body is active. This activity causes small amounts of stress inside the body. That stress is normal and healthy, but only if the body is given time to recover. Rest is the time when this recovery happens. When you rest, your body begins to fix what was worn out during the day. Muscles relax and repair tiny damages. Your heart rate slows down and becomes steady. Your breathing becomes deeper and calmer. Blood moves more smoothly through your body. All of these changes help your body return to balance. Without rest, this balance is never fully restored. The mind also needs rest, just as much as the body does. During the day, your mind is constantly processing information. It listens to sounds, unreads words, solves problems, remembers events, and reacts to emotions. Even when you think you are doing nothing, your mind is still active. Over time, this constant activity creates mental fatigue. Mental fatigue does not always feel like physical tiredness. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like irritation. Sometimes it feels like sadness or stress without a clear reason. When the mind does not get enough rest, it loses clarity. Thoughts become heavy and slow. Decisions become harder to make. Concentration becomes weaker. Rest is how the mind becomes clear again. When you allow yourself to rest, your thoughts slow down. Your mind stops jumping from one worry to another. This does not mean problems disappear, but it means you can see them more clearly. A rested mind can separate what matters from what does not. A tired mind mixes everything together and makes life feel overwhelming. When you do not rest, everything feels harder than it should. Tasks that are normally simple start to feel difficult. Answering a message feels tiring. Making a small decision feels stressful. Even enjoyable activities lose their pleasure. This is not because the tasks changed. It is because your energy has been drained. Small problems feel big when you are tired. A minor mistake can feel like a disaster. A short delay can feel unbearable. Words from others can feel sharper and more painful than they really are. Lack of rest reduces emotional strength. It makes you more sensitive and less patient. Simple tasks feel heavy when rest is missing. Getting out of bed feels difficult. Starting work feels impossible. Your body feels slow and your mind feels resistant. This is not laziness. This is exhaustion. Laziness is a choice. Exhaustion is a condition. Rest helps you understand the difference between these two. When you are rested, you can act with intention. When you are exhausted, even good intentions struggle to turn into action. Many people blame themselves for being unmotivated, when in reality, they are just tired. Rest also protects your long-term health. When the body and mind are constantly pushed without breaks, stress levels stay high. High stress over long periods weakens the immune system. It makes you more likely to get sick. It affects digestion, sleep quality, and mood. Rest lowers stress and allows the body to defend itself properly. Sleep is one of the most powerful forms of rest. During sleep, the body enters a deep recovery mode. Hormones that repair tissues are released, and the brain organizes memories and clears out unnecessary information. This process helps you learn better and remember more clearly. Without enough sleep, learning becomes harder and memory becomes weaker. But rest is not only sleep. Rest can also happen while you are awake. Sitting quietly, breathing slowly, and allowing your thoughts to settle are forms of rest. Taking a short break from work, stepping away from screens, or simply being still for a few minutes can help restore energy. These small moments of rest add up over time. Many people feel guilty when they rest. They feel they should be doing something more productive. This guilt prevents true rest. The body may stop moving, but the mind keeps criticizing. True rest requires permission. You must allow yourself to stop without judgment. Rest is not a reward that comes only after everything is finished. Life is never completely finished. There will always be another task, another goal, another responsibility. If you wait for the perfect time to rest, it may never come. Rest must be part of the process, not the end of it. Rest gives you strength for tomorrow. This strength is not only physical, it is mental and emotional. After proper rest, you feel more stable. You respond instead of reacting. You think more clearly. You feel more patient with yourself and others. A rested person can handle challenges better. Problems do not disappear, but they feel manageable. Energy returns, and with it comes confidence. You remember that you are capable. This is why rest is not a waste of time. It is preparation. Many cultures celebrate constant busyness, but constant busyness often hides exhaustion. True productivity comes from balance. Periods of effort must be followed by periods of rest. This rhythm is natural. It exists in nature everywhere. Day follows night. Activity follows stillness. Growth follows recovery. Ignoring this rhythm leads to burnout. Burnout is not sudden. It builds slowly when rest is delayed again and again. People often realize they need rest only when their body or mind forces them to stop. It is wiser to rest before reaching that point. Rest is an act of self-respect. It means you recognize your limits and honor them. It means you understand that you are human, not a machine. Machines can run until they break. Humans need care to continue. When you rest, you are not giving up. You are maintaining yourself. Or you are choosing sustainability over short-term pressure. You are choosing health over exhaustion. You are choosing clarity over confusion. Rest allows you to show up better in your life. It helps you be more present with others. It helps you work with focus instead of struggle. It helps you enjoy moments instead of rushing through them. Rest is important because life is long. Without rest, energy runs out quickly. With rest, energy renews itself. This renewal is what allows you to continue growing, learning, and living with balance. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Rest is strength, returning quietly, preparing you for what comes next. Chapter 2. The body needs pause. The body is always working, even when you are not thinking about it. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, your body is active. Your heart beats without stopping. Your lungs move air in and out. Your muscles support your posture. Your organs process food, clean your blood, and maintain balance. None of this work asks for your permission. It simply happens. Because the body works continuously, it needs regular pauses. A pause is not a luxury. A pause is a requirement. Without pauses, systems begin to slow down, lose balance, and eventually fail. This is true for machines, and it is even more true for the human body. Many people believe that if they feel pain or tiredness, they should push through it. They believe stopping means falling behind. But pain and tiredness are signals. They are messages from the body saying that it needs a break. Ignoring these signals does not make the body stronger. It makes the body weaker over time. When you move during the day, your muscles contract and relax again and again. This repeated movement creates tiny strains inside the muscle fibers. These strains are not dangerous on their own. In fact, they are part of how muscles grow stronger. But muscles only grow stronger when they are given time to recover. Recovery happens during rest. Without pause, muscles remain tense. Tension builds silently. You may not notice it at first, but it slowly affects posture, movement, and comfort. Shoulders become tight. The neck feels stiff. The lower back feels heavy. These are signs that the body has been active for too long without release. The nervous system also needs pause. Your nervous system controls how alert or relaxed you feel. During activity, it stays in a state of readiness. This state is useful when you need to focus, react, or move quickly. But staying in this state for too long keeps the body under constant stress. A pause allows the nervous system to shift into a calmer mood. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure lowers. Muscles soften. This shift tells the body that it is safe. Safety is necessary for healing. Without safety, the body stays tense, and tension blocks recovery. Breathing changes during pause. Instead of short, shallow breaths, breathing becomes deeper and slower. Deep breathing sends signals to the brain that danger has passed. This signal reduces stress hormones in the body. Lower stress hormones allow systems like digestion, immunity, and repair to function properly. When the body does not get pauses, stress hormones remain high. Over time, this affects many areas of health. Digestion becomes weaker. Sleep quality decreases. The immune system becomes less effective. Small problems become long-term issues. All of this begins with the simple absence of rest. The body is not designed to be alert all the time. It is designed to move between action and stillness. This movement between states is natural. Animals rest when they are not hunting or escaping danger. Plants pause growth at night. The human body follows the same logic. But modern life often ignores it. Sitting still for a few minutes is a form of pause. Lying down and letting muscles relax is a deeper pause. Sleep is the deepest pause of all. Each level of pause serves a purpose. Together, they protect the body from exhaustion. Many people wait until they feel completely exhausted before resting. By that point, the body has already been under stress for too long. Rest is more effective when it is regular, not when it is forced by collapse. Small pauses taken early prevent large problems later. The body also needs pause after emotional effort. Emotions are not only mental experiences, they affect the body directly. Stress tightens muscles. Fear increases heart rate. Anger raises tension. Even excitement uses energy. After emotional intensity, the body needs time to return to calm. If emotional effort continues without pause, the body remains tense. This tension often shows up as headaches, stomach discomfort, or fatigue without a clear cause. The body is asking for rest, even if the mind believes it should continue. Pause helps the body reconnect with natural rhythms. Eating slowly allows digestion to work properly. Resting after activity allows the heart to stabilize. Sleeping at night supports hormonal balance. These rhythms keep the body functioning smoothly. Ignoring pause breaks these rhythms. Eating while stressed reduces digestion quality. Working late into the night confuses sleep cycles. Skipping rest days weakens physical endurance. Over time, the body loses its sense of balance. Many people confuse movement with productivity. They believe constant activity means progress. But progress depends on recovery. Without recovery, effort becomes inefficient. The body uses more energy to do less work. Fatigue increases while results decrease. Pause improves efficiency. A rested body moves better. Muscles respond faster. Coordination improves. Pain decreases. Tasks feel easier, not because they changed, but because the body is prepared again. Rest also reduces the risk of injury. When the body is tired, movements become careless, balance weakens, reaction time slows. These changes increase the chance of accidents. Pausing restores awareness and control. There is also a deep connection between pause and awareness. When the body rests, sensations become clearer. You notice your breathing. You notice areas of tension. This awareness allows you to adjust before pain becomes serious. Pause teaches the body that it does not need to be in survival mode all the time. Survival mode is useful in emergencies, but harmful when constant. Rest reminds the body that it can relax, that it does not need to protect itself every moment. Many people feel uncomfortable when they pause. Silence feels strange. Stillness feels unfamiliar. This discomfort often comes from years of ignoring the body's need for rest. The body has learned constant tension. Pause feels foreign at first, but it becomes natural again with practice. You do not need long periods of rest to benefit. Even short pauses matter, standing up and stretching gently, sitting quietly for a few minutes, closing your eyes and breathing slowly. These moments tell the body that it is allowed to soften. Over time, regular pause rebuilds trust between you and your body. The body learns that you listen. When you listen, the body supports you better. Energy becomes more stable. Pain becomes less frequent. Fatigue becomes easier to manage. The body needs pause, not because it is weak, but because it is alive. Life uses energy. Energy must be restored. This cycle is natural and unavoidable. Fighting it leads to exhaustion. Accepting it leads to balance. Pause is not the end of action. It is what makes future action possible. When you allow the body to rest, you are investing in tomorrow's strength. You are choosing sustainability over burnout. The body does not ask for much. It asks for movement when needed and pause when necessary. When both are respected, health improves naturally. When pause is ignored, the body eventually forces it through pain, illness, or extreme fatigue. Listening early is wiser than being forced later. Pause is a choice when taken willingly. It becomes a demand when ignored too long. The body needs pause so it can continue carrying you through life. Every moment of rest is a quiet repair, a small reset, a return to balance. When you pause, you are not stopping progress. You are protecting the system that makes progress possible. Pause is not wasted time. Pause is maintenance. Pause is care. Pause is the body preparing itself to move again, stronger and calmer than before. Chapter 3. The mind also gets tired. The mind is always working. Even when your body is still, your mind often keeps moving. Thoughts appear one after another. Plans for the future, memories from the past, worries about small things, questions without answers. The mind does not need effort to think. Thinking happens automatically. Because of this, many people do not realize how tired their mind becomes. Physical tiredness is easy to notice. Your body feels heavy. Your muscles feel weak. But mental tiredness is quieter. It hides behind emotions, behavior, and mood. You may feel irritated without knowing why. You may feel unmotivated without understanding the reason. You may feel overwhelmed even when nothing serious is happening. Mental tiredness builds slowly. Each decision you make uses mental energy. Each problem you think about uses focus. Each conversation requires attention. Even choosing what to eat or what to wear uses the mind. Throughout the day, these small efforts add up. By the end of the day, the mind may be overloaded. When the mind gets tired, clarity disappears. Thoughts become less organized. Simple ideas feel confusing. You may read the same sentence many times and still not understand it. You may forget things easily. You may struggle to find the right words. These are signs of a tired mind, not a weak one. A tired mind often feels noisy. Thoughts talk over each other. One worry leads to another. You try to relax, but your mind keeps replaying conversations or imagining problems. This noise is not a sign of intelligence. It is a sign of fatigue. The mind is asking for rest, not more thinking. Rest allows the mind to slow down naturally. When you stop forcing yourself to think, the mind begins to settle. Thoughts become fewer and softer. You may notice longer pauses between them. These pauses are important. They are where mental recovery begins. Many people believe that the mind should always be active. They believe constant thinking means productivity. This belief is harmful. The mind, like the body, works best in cycles. Periods of focus must be followed by periods of rest. Without rest, focus weakens instead of strengthening. Mental rest does not mean stopping all thoughts forever. That is unrealistic. Mental rest means allowing thoughts to come and go without effort. It means not chasing every idea. It means not forcing solutions when the mind is exhausted. Rest is about release, not control. When the mind does not get rest, emotions become unstable. Small frustrations feel intense. Patience becomes thin. You may react strongly to things that normally would not bother you. This happens because rest helps regulate emotions. Without it, emotional balance is harder to maintain. Stress increases when the mind is tired. Stress is not only caused by external problems, it is also caused by internal overload. When too many thoughts compete for attention, the mind feels under pressure. This pressure turns into stress, even in calm environments. Rest reduces this pressure. When the mind rests, it stops trying to hold everything at once. Priorities become clearer. Some worries lose their importance. Problems feel more manageable. This does not happen because problems disappear, but because the mind regains perspective. Sleep is one of the most important forms of mental rest. During sleep, the mind processes experiences from the day. It organizes information and removes unnecessary details. This process helps learning and memory. Without enough sleep, the mind struggles to keep information organized. Poor sleep leads to mental fog. Concentration weakens, creativity decreases, decision-making becomes slower. Over time, chronic lack of sleep affects confidence and motivation. People often blame themselves for these changes. But the real cause is mental exhaustion. Mental rest can also happen while awake. Sitting quietly without stimulation gives the mind space to reset. Reducing noise, screens, and constant input allows thoughts to slow down. Silence may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is healthy for the mind. Many people avoid silence because they fear their thoughts. They worry that resting the mind will bring uncomfortable feelings. In reality, rest does not create these feelings. It reveals what was already there. Ignoring them through constant distraction only delays healing. Resting the mind does not mean solving everything immediately. Some questions do not need answers right now. Some worries lose power when they are not fed with attention. Rest teaches the mind that not every thought deserves energy. The mind also needs rest from constant comparison. Social media, news, and endless information overload the brain. Comparing yourself to others drains mental energy. Stepping away from these inputs allows the mind to reconnect with its own rhythm. Or when the mind is rested, learning becomes easier. New information is absorbed more quickly. Understanding deepens. Memory improves. This is why rest is essential for students and learners. Studying without rest reduces effectiveness instead of improving it. Mental rest improves creativity. Ideas form more naturally when the mind is relaxed. Forced thinking blocks creativity. Many insights appear during moments of rest, not during pressure. This is because rest allows connections to form freely. A rested mind is more compassionate. It responds instead of reacts. It listens better. It understands more deeply. Fatigue narrows perspective. Rest widens it again. Mental rest also strengthens resilience. Life always includes challenges. A rested mind can face them without collapsing. An exhausted mind feels defeated quickly. Rest does not remove difficulty, but it improves your ability to handle it. Many people wait for weekends or vacations to rest their mind. This is not enough. The mind needs regular daily rest, not rare long breaks. Small moments of mental pause throughout the day prevent overload. Mental rest can be as simple as closing your eyes and breathing slowly. It can be sitting quietly without entertainment. It can be walking without listening to anything. These moments allow the mind to settle. At first, the mind may resist rest. It may bring more thoughts instead of fewer. This is normal. Like a tired child, the mind may protest before calming down. With patience, rest becomes easier and more natural. Rest teaches the mind that it does not need to be alert all the time. Constant alertness is a form of stress. Relaxation tells the mind that it is safe. Safety allows healing. A rested mind feels lighter. Thoughts feel less urgent. Decisions feel clearer. You feel more present in the moment. This presence is not forced. It happens naturally when the mind is no longer overloaded. The mind also needs rest from self-criticism. Constant judging drains mental energy. Rest includes allowing yourself to be imperfect without analysis. Silence from inner criticism is deeply restorative. Mental rest is not avoidance, it is maintenance. It keeps the mind healthy and balanced. Without it, even strong minds weaken over time. The mind gets tired because it is constantly used. This is normal. Needing rest does not mean something is wrong. It means the system is working as designed. Rest allows the mind to return to its natural state. Calm, clear, aware. And when rested, the mind becomes a tool instead of a burden. The mind does not need to think all the time to be valuable. Sometimes its greatest strength comes from stillness. Stillness restores clarity. Clarity restores confidence. The mind also gets tired, and honoring that truth is an act of intelligence. When you allow the mind to rest, you protect your focus, your emotions, and your ability to live with balance. Mental rest is not stopping life. It is preparing yourself to live it better. Chapter 4. Sleep is deep rest. Sleep is the deepest form of rest the body and mind can experience. It is not just a break from the day. It is a powerful process of repair, reset, and renewal. Many people think of sleep as passive, as if nothing important happens during those hours. In reality, sleep is one of the most active and essential states the human system enters. When you sleep, your body does not shut down. It changes its focus. Instead of reacting to the outside world, it turns inward. Systems that were busy during the day shift into maintenance mode. This is when real recovery happens. During sleep, the body begins repairing tissues that were stressed during waking hours. Muscles that carried you all day begin to relax deeply. Small tears in muscle fibers are repaired. Cells are restored. Hormones that support growth and healing are released. This process cannot fully happen while you are awake. Sleep creates the conditions that allow it. The brain also works differently during sleep. Throughout the day, your brain collects enormous amounts of information. Conversations, sounds, images, emotions, decisions, and memories all pile up. Sleep gives the brain time to sort through this information. Important memories are strengthened. Unnecessary details are removed. Emotional experiences are processed and softened. This is why sleep improves learning. When you sleep well, you remember better. You understand more clearly. You can connect ideas more easily. Without enough sleep, learning becomes inefficient. You may study longer, but absorb less. The brain needs sleep to organize knowledge properly. Sleep also regulates emotions. During deep rest, the brain reduces emotional intensity from the day. Stressful moments lose their sharp edges. Anxiety settles. This does not mean problems disappear, but they feel less overwhelming. After good sleep, emotions feel more balanced and manageable. When sleep is missing, emotional control weakens. Small frustrations feel intense. patience disappears quickly. You may feel more reactive, more sensitive, or more negative than usual. This is not a personality flaw. It is a biological response to lack of rest. Sleep supports the immune system as well. While you sleep, your body produces substances that help fight illness. These substances strengthen your defenses. When sleep is reduced, the immune system becomes weaker. You may get sick more often or take longer to recover. Sleep is one of the body's natural protections. Despite all of this, many people treat sleep as optional. They stay up late working, watching screens, or scrolling endlessly. They sacrifice sleep to gain more time. But this trade is never equal. The time gained is paid for with energy, clarity, and health the next day. Sleep debt builds quietly. Missing one night of sleep may feel manageable. Missing many nights slowly damages performance, focus declines, reaction time slows, judgment becomes weaker. Over time, chronic sleep loss affects mood, motivation, and even physical health. Deep rest during sleep also allows the nervous system to reset. During the day, the nervous system stays alert to handle demands and potential threats. At night, sleep signals safety. Heart rate slows. Blood pressure decreases. The body shifts into a state where healing becomes possible. Light sleep and deep sleep both play roles, but deep sleep is especially important. This is when the body releases growth and repair hormones. This is when physical recovery is strongest. Interrupting deep sleep reduces the quality of rest, even if total sleep time seems long. Sleep quality matters as much as sleep length. 8 hours of broken, restless sleep is not the same as 8 hours of calm, continuous rest. Stress, noise, light, and mental tension all reduce sleep quality. Creating a calm environment helps sleep do its work properly. The mind often resists sleep. Thoughts appear just when you want to rest. Worries surface. Plans replay. This happens because the mind finally has space. During the day, distractions keep thoughts busy. At night, silence brings them forward. Trying to force sleep rarely works. Sleep arrives naturally when the body feels safe and relaxed. Forcing rest creates tension. Letting go invites sleep. This is why calm routines before bed help. Gentle activities signal the body that rest is coming. Sleep is also deeply connected to rhythm. The body follows natural cycles of light and dark. Darkness triggers sleep-related hormones. Bright light signals alertness. Staying awake under bright screens late at night confuses these signals. The body struggles to understand when it is time to rest. Respecting natural rhythms improves sleep quality. Reducing light before bed. Keeping a consistent sleep schedule. Allowing the night to feel different from the day. These small choices support deep rest. Sleep is not only physical recovery, it is also psychological restoration. During sleep, the mind lets go of constant control. It releases the need to manage, plan, and monitor. This release is deeply healing. It reminds the system that it does not need to be in charge all the time. Dreams are part of this process. Dreams are the mind's way of working through emotions and experiences. They may not always make sense, but they serve a purpose. They help the brain integrate what happened during the day. When sleep is cut short, this integration remains incomplete. Emotions carry over into the next day. Stress accumulates. Over time, this creates mental fatigue that cannot be solved with effort alone. Sleep also supports decision-making. A rested brain evaluates options more accurately. It recognizes consequences more clearly. A tired brain takes shortcuts. It chooses what is easy, not what is wise. This is why lack of sleep often leads to poor choices. Deep rest improves self-control. When rested, resisting impulses becomes easier. Patience increases. Emotional regulation strengthens. Sleep supports discipline, not weakness. Many people believe they can train themselves to need less sleep. This belief ignores biology. While sleep needs vary slightly between individuals, everyone requires deep rest. Ignoring this need leads to gradual decline, not adaptation. Sleep deprivation does not always feel dramatic at first. It shows up as subtle changes: slower thinking, reduced motivation, less joy. Over time, these small changes accumulate into major problems. Deep rest also affects creativity. Ideas connect more freely after sleep. Solutions appear more easily. This is because the brain has had time to reorganize information. Creativity thrives in rested minds. Sleep strengthens memory. Facts, skills, and experiences become more stable after sleep. Without sleep, memories remain fragile. Learning without sleep is like writing on water. Sleep also supports emotional resilience. Life includes challenges. A rested system can handle stress without collapsing. Lack of sleep reduces resilience. Small challenges feel overwhelming. Rest restores strength. Many people feel they do not have time to sleep. In reality, they cannot afford not to. The time lost to fatigue, mistakes, and illness far outweighs the hours spent resting. Sleep is not wasted time. It is an investment. It pays back energy, clarity, and health. Every hour of good sleep improves the quality of waking hours. Deep rest during sleep allows the body to return to balance. Systems recalibrate. Stress reduces. Healing continues quietly without effort. Sleep also teaches trust. When you sleep, you let go of control. You trust that the body knows how to maintain itself. This trust is essential for mental peace. Fighting sleep often comes from fear of losing time or control. Accepting sleep is an act of wisdom. It means recognizing limits and respecting natural needs. Sleep prepares you for tomorrow. It restores strength you did not realize you lost. It sharpens awareness. It softens emotions. It clears mental fog. Without sleep, life becomes survival. With sleep, life becomes manageable again. Rest transforms effort into flow. Deep rest is not something you must earn. It is something you need. Sleep is the foundation of physical health, mental clarity, and emotional balance. When you protect your sleep, you protect your future energy. You protect your ability to learn, to work, to feel, and to live with stability. Sleep is deep rest because it restores the whole system at once. Body, mind, and emotions recover together. No other form of rest works so completely. Honoring sleep is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of understanding how life works. Deep rest is not optional. It is essential. Sleep is where repair happens quietly, without effort, without struggle. It is the body and mind doing what they were designed to do. Deep rest is waiting every night. When you allow yourself to enter it, you are not stopping life. You are preparing yourself to meet it again with strength, clarity, and calm. Chapter 5. You do not have to earn rest. Many people believe rest must be earned. They think rest is something you deserve only after finishing everything on your list, only after working long hours, only after proving you are useful. This belief is deeply rooted, and it quietly shapes how people live. It pushes them to delay rest again and again, telling themselves they will stop later, when things are calmer, when life is easier, when they are finally done. That moment rarely comes. Rest is not a reward. It is a requirement. Treating rest as something you must earn misunderstands how the human system works. You do not earn breathing. You do not earn sleep. You do not earn the need to eat. These are basic needs. Rest belongs in the same category. The idea that rest must be earned usually comes from fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of being judged, fear of being seen as lazy or weak. Society often praises exhaustion and celebrates busyness. People brag about how little they sleep and how much they work. Over time, this turns rest into something shameful instead of something necessary. When rest is treated as a reward, it becomes rare and incomplete. Even when people finally stop, they cannot relax. Their body may sit still, but their mind keeps working. Thoughts say, "You should be doing more." Guilt follows them into rest and steals its benefits. This kind of rest does not restore energy. It only pauses movement while stress continues. True rest requires permission. You must allow yourself to stop without justification. You must let go of the idea that rest needs to be deserved. The body does not wait for permission to get tired. The mind does not wait for approval to feel overloaded. They signal their needs honestly. Ignoring those signals creates damage. Earning rest suggests that productivity comes first and health comes later. This order is backwards. Health supports productivity, not the other way around. When health declines, productivity collapses. Rest maintains health. Without it, effort becomes inefficient and harmful. Many people push themselves past exhaustion because they believe stopping means failure. In reality, refusing to rest is what leads to failure. Burnout does not arrive suddenly. It builds slowly through ignored signals and delayed rest. By the time rest is finally forced, recovery takes much longer. Rest is not something you take only when you are completely exhausted. That approach treats rest as emergency medicine instead of daily care. Daily care is more effective. Small, regular rest prevents breakdown. Long recovery after collapse is much harder. The belief that rest must be earned also creates inequality inside the mind. Work is valued. Rest is devalued. Over time, people begin to feel worthless when they are not producing. Their sense of value becomes tied only to output. This is dangerous. Human worth is not measured by constant action. Rest allows you to exist without performing. It allows you to be present without proving anything. This experience is deeply important for mental health. Without it, people feel pressured even in moments meant for peace. Children rest naturally. They sleep when tired. They stop playing when energy runs out. Over time, many are taught to ignore these signals. They are told to push, to continue, to finish. While discipline has value, ignoring basic needs creates long-term harm. The body does not understand social expectations. It understands stress and recovery. When recovery is delayed, the body adapts in unhealthy ways. Muscles remain tense. Hormones stay imbalanced. Sleep becomes shallow. These changes accumulate silently. Rest also supports clarity of judgment. When tired, people make poor decisions. They choose speed over quality. They react instead of responding. They seek short-term relief instead of long-term solutions. Rest restores perspective. It allows wiser choices. The idea of earning rest often comes with harsh inner rules. I will rest after I finish this. I will rest when everything is done. I will rest when I deserve it. These rules move rest further away each time. Life continues to add new demands, and rest remains postponed. There will always be more to do. Work is endless. Responsibilities change shape, but never disappear. If rest waits for completion, it will never arrive. Rest must be scheduled and protected, not postponed. Rest does not reduce ambition, it supports it. Sustainable effort requires recovery. Athletes understand this. Training without rest leads to injury. The same is true for mental and emotional effort. Continuous strain without pause damages performance. You do not need to justify rest by being productive first. Rest itself improves productivity later. It restores focus, creativity, and motivation. The time spent resting returns as higher quality effort. Rest is also a form of respect for the body. It says, I recognize your limits. Ignoring limits is not strength. It is denial. Strength includes knowing when to stop. Many people fear that if they rest freely, they will never start again. This fear comes from burnout, not laziness. Burnout creates resistance to work because work has been associated with pain. Proper rest reduces this resistance. After true rest, energy returns naturally. Rest also teaches balance. Life is not meant to be constant output. It includes cycles of action and stillness. Ignoring stillness creates imbalance. Balance restores harmony. The belief that rest must be earned also affects sleep. People go to bed late because they feel they have not done enough. They stay awake scrolling or worrying as if they must squeeze more out of the day. This behavior steals deep rest and increases fatigue the next day. Allowing rest without guilt improves sleep quality. When the mind feels allowed to stop, it releases control more easily. Sleep comes more naturally. Rest is not indulgence. Indulgence is excess without care. Rest is care without excess. It restores what effort consumes. You do not earn rest by suffering first. Suffering does not increase the value of rest. In fact, rest taken earlier prevents unnecessary suffering. Some people believe resting without exhaustion is wasteful. They think energy should be spent completely before stopping. This mindset treats the body like a disposable resource. The body is not disposable. It is the system that carries you through life. Rest also protects emotional health. When people are constantly pushing, emotions become suppressed. They are ignored until they explode. Rest allows emotions to surface gently and be processed calmly. When rest is allowed freely, self-compassion grows. You stop treating yourself like a machine and start treating yourself like a living being. This shift changes how you approach work, relationships, and challenges. Rest does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means meeting responsibility with a healthy system. A rested person shows up more fully. An exhausted person merely survives tasks. The idea that rest must be earned is often passed down through generations. People repeat it without questioning it. Challenging this belief is an act of wisdom. It means choosing long-term well-being over short-term pressure. Rest is not selfish. When you rest, you become more patient, more present, and more capable. This benefits others as well. Exhaustion spreads tension. Rest spreads calm. You are allowed to rest even if others are still working. You are allowed to rest even if your list is unfinished. You are allowed to rest even if nothing dramatic happened. Needing rest does not require justification. Rest supports consistency. Without it, effort becomes irregular. You push too hard, then collapse. With rest, effort becomes steady and sustainable. Rest also reduces fear. When the system is rested, challenges feel less threatening. Confidence increases, energy stabilizes. Rest is part of maintenance. Everything that lasts requires maintenance. Ignoring maintenance leads to breakdown. Rest is how humans maintain themselves. You do not have to earn rest because rest is not a prize. It is fuel. It is what allows you to continue. Waiting to earn rest teaches the body to expect neglect. Allowing rest teaches the body to trust you. That trust improves overall health and resilience. The body gives signals long before collapse. Tension, fatigue, irritation, lack of focus. These are invitations to rest, not obstacles to push through. Rest taken early is gentle. Rest taken late is forced. Forced rest often comes as illness, burnout, or emotional breakdown. Choosing rest willingly prevents this. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are here to live with balance. Rest is part of that balance. When you stop treating rest as something to earn, life becomes more sustainable. Energy returns more easily. Joy becomes possible again. Clarity improves. Rest does not mean quitting. It means preparing. It means restoring what effort uses. It means honoring the rhythm of being human. You do not need to collapse to justify rest. You do not need to reach your limit to deserve care. You do not need permission from anyone else. Rest is allowed. Rest is necessary. Rest is wise. When you accept that you do not have to earn rest, you free yourself from constant pressure. You allow recovery to happen regularly. You choose health over guilt. Rest is not something you take after life is done. It is something you take so life can continue. You do not earn rest. You need it. And honoring that truth is one of the strongest choices you can make. Chapter 6. Slowing down is not failing. Many people believe that slowing down means falling behind. They think speed is proof of intelligence, ambition, and success. They are taught that moving fast means winning and that stopping means losing. Over time, this belief becomes so strong that even rest feels dangerous. Slowing down begins to feel like a mistake instead of a choice. This belief is deeply flawed. Slowing down is not failing. In many cases, slowing down is the most intelligent response to pressure. Speed without control does not create progress. It creates errors, exhaustion, and regret. True progress depends on direction, not speed. Life today rewards urgency. Messages arrive instantly. Deadlines stack quickly. Everything pushes you to react immediately. In this environment, slowing down feels unnatural. But unnatural does not mean wrong. It often means necessary. When you move too fast, awareness narrows. You stop noticing details. You miss signals from your body and mind. Hunger, fatigue, tension, and emotional stress are ignored because there is no time to feel them. This disconnection builds silently until something breaks. Slowing down reconnects you to what is happening inside and around you. It restores awareness. You begin to notice how tired you are, how tense your body feels, and how rushed your thoughts have become. Awareness is not weakness, it is information. Information allows better decisions. Many mistakes come from moving too fast. Words are spoken without thought. Decisions are made without clarity. Tasks are rushed and must be redone later. Speed creates the illusion of efficiency, but often wastes more time than it saves. Slowing down improves accuracy. When you take your time, you see problems before they grow. You understand instructions better. You respond instead of react. This saves energy and reduces stress. Slowing down also improves learning. When you rush, you skim. When you slow down, you absorb. Understanding takes time. The mind needs space to connect ideas. Speed blocks depth. Slowness allows comprehension. Many people fear that slowing down will make them lazy. This fear comes from confusion. Slowing down does not mean stopping completely. It means choosing a pace that can be maintained without damage. Laziness avoids effort. Slowing down protects effort. A sustainable pace allows consistency. When you move at a pace you can maintain, you show up regularly. When you move too fast, you burn out and disappear for long periods. Consistency matters more than bursts of intensity. Slowing down reduces anxiety. Anxiety thrives on urgency. It grows when everything feels immediate and overwhelming. When you slow down, urgency weakens. Problems feel more manageable. The nervous system calms. The body responds quickly to slower pacing. Breathing becomes deeper. Muscles relax. Heart rate steadies. These changes signal safety. Safety allows the body to recover. Recovery restores energy. Many people equate slowing down with losing control. In reality, rushing often comes from fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being judged. Fear of missing out. Slowing down challenges these fears. It asks you to trust yourself and the process. Trust is difficult when you are exhausted. Fatigue creates urgency. Urgency creates panic. Panic drives speed. Slowing down breaks this cycle. It replaces panic with presence. Slowing down does not mean giving up goals. It means approaching them wisely. Goals reached through exhaustion are rarely enjoyed. Goals reached through balance feel meaningful. In relationships, slowing down improves connection. When you rush conversations, you listen poorly. You interrupt, you misunderstand. Slowing down allows real listening. It allows empathy. It reduces conflict. Many arguments happen because people respond too quickly. Words are spoken before emotions settle. Slowing down creates space between feeling and action. That space prevents damage. Slowing down also improves self-awareness. You notice your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You recognize patterns. You see when you are pushing too hard. Awareness allows change. People often resist slowing down because silence feels uncomfortable. When things slow, thoughts surface. Feelings appear. This can feel overwhelming at first, but avoiding these inner experiences does not make them disappear. It only delays healing. Slowing down allows processing. Emotions that are ignored become heavier. Emotions that are acknowledged soften over time. Slowness creates room for emotional digestion. Many people confuse slowing down with going backward. In reality, slowing down often prevents setbacks. Injuries, burnout, and breakdowns are setbacks created by speed without care. Slowness protects progress. Slowing down is also a form of respect for time. When you rush, you treat time as an enemy. When you slow down, you work with time instead of fighting it. This reduces pressure. Creativity benefits from slowness. Ideas rarely appear under force. They emerge when the mind is relaxed. Slowing down gives creativity space to breathe. Decision-making improves when you slow down. You consider consequences. You notice alternatives. You avoid impulsive choices. This leads to better outcomes. Slowing down also supports memory. When information is rushed, it passes through the mind without staying. When you slow down, memories form more clearly. Learning becomes stable. Many cultures misunderstand rest and slowness. They value output over health. But systems that ignore maintenance eventually collapse. Slowing down is maintenance. It keeps the system functioning. Slowing down helps you notice what truly matters. When everything moves fast, priorities blur. When pace slows, values become clear. You see what deserves attention and what can wait. Slowing down does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means handling responsibility with care. Care improves quality. Quality reduces future problems. Fear often says, if I slow down, I will lose everything. Experience often shows the opposite. Slowing down prevents loss. It protects energy, health, and relationships. Slowing down also improves sleep. When days are rushed, nights remain restless. The nervous system stays alert. When you move more slowly during the day, the body releases tension more easily at night. The habit of rushing is learned. It is not natural. It can be unlearned. Slowing down may feel strange at first, but it becomes comfortable with practice. You do not need to slow everything at once. Start small. Pause before responding. Breathe before deciding. Walk instead of rush when possible. These small shifts retrain the system. Slowing down teaches patience. Patience reduces stress. Stress reduction improves health. This chain reaction begins with pace. Slowing down also strengthens confidence. When you are calm, you trust your ability to handle challenges. When rushed, confidence collapses into panic. Many people believe their value comes from speed. They think being fast makes them important. This belief is fragile. True value comes from presence, clarity, and reliability. Slowing down strengthens all three. Slowing down does not remove ambition. It refines it. It separates meaningful goals from unnecessary pressure. And it turns ambition into direction instead of chaos. When you slow down, you allow life to meet you. You notice moments instead of racing past them. This improves satisfaction and reduces regret. Regret often comes from moving too fast. Missed moments, harsh words, unnecessary stress. Slowing down reduces these outcomes. Slowing down also improves physical coordination. Movements become smoother. Balance improves. Injuries decrease. The body works better when not rushed. Many people only slow down when forced by illness or burnout. This is the body demanding what was ignored. Choosing to slow down earlier is wiser and kinder. Slowing down is not weakness. It is self-control. It is choosing long-term stability over short-term pressure. Slowing down does not mean you are failing. It means you are listening. Listening to your body, listening to your mind, listening to reality. Reality has limits. Ignoring limits creates suffering. Respecting limits creates balance. Slowing down is how limits are respected. When you slow down, you regain agency. You stop being dragged by urgency. You begin choosing your actions again. Slowing down helps you stay present. Presence improves experience. Life feels fuller, not emptier. Speed numbs experience. Slowness restores it. Slowing down also reduces fear of missing out. When you are present, you realize you are already here. You stop chasing constantly. The idea that faster is better is not always true. Better is better. Slower often leads to better. Slowing down allows recovery to keep pace with effort. Without recovery, effort becomes destructive. Slowness protects recovery. You do not fail by slowing down. You fail by ignoring the cost of speed. Slowing down is not quitting. It is recalibrating. It is adjusting pace so you can continue. Life is not a race to finish quickly. It is a process to live well. Slowing down supports that process. When you slow down, you stop fighting yourself. You work with your natural rhythm instead of against it. Slowing down is a skill. Like any skill, it improves with practice. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. Slowing down does not mean doing less forever. It means doing what matters with care. In a world obsessed with speed, choosing slowness is an act of wisdom. Slowing down is not failing. It is choosing sustainability over burnout, clarity over chaos, and health over pressure. When you slow down, you do not lose ground. You gain balance. And balance allows you to keep moving forward calmly and steadily, without breaking along the way. Chapter 7. Breathe and rest. Breathing is the most natural thing you do, yet it is often the most ignored. You breathe without thinking from the moment you are born until the moment you die. Because it happens automatically, many people never notice how powerful breath is. But breath is one of the strongest tools the body has to create rest. Your breath is directly connected to your nervous system. When you are stressed, breathing becomes fast and shallow. When you are calm, breathing becomes slow and deep. This connection works in both directions. Stress changes breathing, but breathing can also change stress. By slowing your breath, you send a clear signal to the body that it is safe to relax. When life feels busy or overwhelming, breathing often becomes short and tight. The chest rises quickly, the belly stays still. This kind of breathing tells the body to stay alert. It prepares you for action, not rest. If this pattern continues for long periods, the body remains tense, even when there is no real danger. Slow breathing reverses this state. When you inhale gently and exhale slowly, the body receives a message of safety. The heart rate begins to slow. Muscles release tension. The mind starts to quiet. This happens because slow breathing activates the part of the nervous system responsible for rest and recovery. Many people think rest requires special conditions, a quiet room, a long break, perfect timing. In reality, rest can begin with a single breath. One slow exhale can reduce tension. A few minutes of gentle breathing can shift the entire state of the body. Breath is always available. You do not need equipment. You do not need permission. You do not need to change your situation. You only need to notice your breathing and allow it to slow. This makes breath one of the most accessible forms of rest. Breathing deeply helps the body release stored tension. Stress often causes muscles to tighten unconsciously. The jaw clenches, the shoulders lift, the stomach tightens. Slow breathing encourages these areas to soften. With each exhale, the body lets go a little more. Breath also affects the mind. Fast breathing feeds anxious thoughts. It keeps the mind alert and restless. Slow breathing creates mental space. Thoughts lose urgency. Worries feel less intense. The mind becomes more receptive to rest. Many people try to relax their mind directly. They tell themselves to stop thinking. This usually fails. The mind does not respond well to force. Breathing provides a different path. By calming the body first, the mind follows naturally. Breath anchors you in the present moment. When you focus on breathing, attention moves away from the past and future. The present moment feels safer and quieter. Presence is deeply restful because it removes unnecessary mental effort. Rest begins when the body believes it is safe. Breath is how you communicate safety to the body. Slow, steady breathing tells the system that there is no immediate threat. This allows healing processes to begin. Breathing slowly before sleep helps prepare the body for deep rest. It lowers arousal levels. It reduces racing thoughts. It creates a smooth transition from activity to stillness. Without this transition, the body resists sleep. Breath also helps during moments of wakeful rest. Sitting quietly and breathing slowly restores energy. Even short breathing pauses during the day can prevent exhaustion from building. Many people underestimate the impact of shallow breathing over time. Chronic shallow breathing keeps the body in a low-level stress state. This contributes to fatigue, anxiety, and tension. Improving breathing habits improves overall well-being. Breath influences oxygen delivery. Deep, slow breaths allow oxygen to move efficiently through the body. This supports cellular energy and reduces feelings of weakness or dizziness. Good breathing supports physical strength. Breathing also supports emotional regulation. When emotions rise, breathing often changes automatically. Learning to slow the breath during emotional moments prevents escalation. It creates space to respond instead of react. Breath creates a bridge between conscious and unconscious processes. You can control it intentionally, but it also works automatically. This makes it a powerful tool for self-regulation. Many traditions across cultures emphasize breathing for rest and balance. This is not accidental. Humans have always recognized breath as a gateway to calm. Modern science confirms what intuition has long known. Breathing slowly improves heart rhythm. A steady rhythm signals stability. This reduces stress hormones and supports cardiovascular health. Over time, regular slow breathing strengthens resilience. Breath also helps release mental pressure. When you exhale slowly, the body lets go of effort. Effort melts into ease. Ease creates rest. Some people feel uncomfortable focusing on breath at first. It may feel strange or boring. This discomfort often comes from years of constant stimulation. With practice, breathing becomes soothing and familiar. Breath does not need to be forced. Forcing breath creates tension. Gentle awareness is enough. Allow the breath to deepen naturally. Let the body find its own rhythm. Rest through breath does not require long sessions. Even 1 minute of slow breathing can make a difference. Over time, these moments accumulate and protect the nervous system. Breathing teaches patience. You cannot rush a breath without losing calm. Breath reminds you to slow down. Breath also creates continuity between rest and activity. You can breathe calmly while working, walking, or resting. This keeps stress from accumulating. Breath supports sleep by reducing mental chatter. When breathing slows or thoughts lose energy, the mind becomes quieter. Sleep arrives more easily. Breath also supports waking life. A calm breath in the morning sets the tone for the day. It prevents rushing from taking over. Breathing deeply reconnects you with your body. It brings awareness inward. This awareness allows better care. Many people live disconnected from their breath. They breathe shallowly without noticing. Reconnecting with breath restores balance. Breath is honest. It reflects your state without words. By changing breath, you change the state. Breath reminds you that rest is not something far away. It is available now. In this moment, breath is a constant companion. It supports you silently, without demand. When you are overwhelmed, breath is there. When you are tired, breath is there. When you cannot stop thinking, breath is there. Rest does not always require stopping life. Sometimes it begins with breathing differently. Breath is the doorway to rest because it speaks the language of the body. The body listens. By slowing your breath, you slow your system. By slowing your system, you allow rest. Breath and rest are deeply connected. One invites the other. When you breathe slowly, you remind yourself that you are safe. Safety allows rest. Rest allows recovery. Breath is not a solution to everything, but it is a beginning, a reliable beginning. Whenever you feel rushed, tense, or overwhelmed, return to your breath. It will guide you back to calm. Breath is simple, but it is powerful. It restores balance quietly. Rest does not always start with stopping. Sometimes it starts with breathing. Breath is the first step into rest, and rest begins with listening to it. Chapter 8. Night is made for rest. Night exists for a reason. It is not an accident of time or a simple absence of daylight. Night is part of a natural rhythm that life follows. When darkness arrives, the world slows down. Sounds become softer. Movement decreases. Energy shifts inward. This change is a signal, not a coincidence. It tells the body and mind that it is time to rest. For thousands of years, humans lived closely with this rhythm. They worked during daylight and rested when night came. Darkness guided behavior naturally. The body learned to release effort when the sun went down. Modern life has weakened this connection, but the body still remembers it. When night begins, the body starts preparing for rest. Hormones that support sleep increase. Alertness decreases, and the nervous system begins to relax. These changes happen automatically when the environment supports them. Darkness, quiet, and stillness help the body shift into rest mode. Artificial light interferes with this process. Bright lights tell the brain that it is still daytime. Screens send signals of alertness. The body becomes confused. It does not know whether to prepare for sleep or stay active. This confusion delays rest and reduces sleep quality. Night invites slowing down. It encourages shorter conversations, quieter movements, and softer thinking. This invitation is gentle. It does not force rest, but it suggests it. When this suggestion is ignored, tension builds. When it is accepted, calm follows. Night reduces stimulation. Fewer sounds, fewer tasks, fewer demands. This reduction allows the nervous system to recover. Constant stimulation during the day keeps the system alert. Night offers relief from that alertness. The mind also responds to night. Thoughts change character. Planning decreases. Reflection increases. The mind becomes more inward focused. This inward shift supports emotional processing. It allows the day to settle. Night creates separation between days. It acts as a boundary. Without this boundary, stress accumulates continuously. Rest at night resets the system so that each day can begin fresh. Many people resist night. They stay awake long after the body signals readiness for rest. They fill the night with activity, noise, and light. This resistance often comes from fear of stopping, fear of facing thoughts, fear of losing time. But night is not stealing time. It is giving it back in another form. Time spent resting is returned as energy, clarity, and stability the next day. The quiet of night is powerful. In quiet, the body relaxes more deeply. Muscles soften, breathing slows, the heart settles. These changes are difficult to achieve in noisy environments. Night also provides emotional safety. The world feels less demanding. Expectations fade. You are not required to respond quickly. This safety allows vulnerability. It allows release. The darkness of night supports rest because it removes visual stimulation. The eyes rest. The brain receives fewer signals. This reduces mental activity. Darkness tells the system that vigilance is no longer necessary. Night also supports imagination and dreaming. Dreams happen most vividly during rest. They help process emotions and experiences. Night creates the conditions for this inner work. Sleep at night is deeper than sleep during the day. This is because the body's internal clock is designed to rest during darkness. Daytime sleep often lacks the same depth and recovery. Respecting night improves overall health. Regular nighttime rest stabilizes mood, improves memory, and strengthens immunity. Ignoring night disrupts these systems. Night encourages ritual. Simple routines like dimming lights, slowing movements, and preparing for bed signal safety. Rituals help the body transition from activity to rest. Without a transition, the body struggles. Going directly from high stimulation to bed confuses the nervous system. Night rituals bridge this gap. Night also invites letting go. What was not finished can wait. What went wrong can rest. Night reminds you that effort has limits, that the pressure to continue at night often comes from unrealistic expectations. Productivity is not meant to be constant. Night exists to stop the cycle before exhaustion forces it. When night is ignored repeatedly, fatigue accumulates. The body becomes tense, sleep becomes shallow. Over time, this leads to burnout. Night also creates equality. Everyone receives the same darkness. Everyone is invited to rest. The difference is who accepts the invitation. Many people feel guilt when resting at night. They feel they should be doing more. This guilt steals rest. Night works best when guilt is released. The body understands night instinctively. It does not need explanation. When you allow night to be night, rest comes naturally. Night protects the nervous system. It reduces sensory input. It lowers stress hormones. It allows repair. Night also creates a sense of closure. The day ends. You are allowed to stop carrying it. Closure is necessary for peace. In darkness, performance pressure decreases. You are not expected to be alert or productive. This permission is deeply restful. Night also supports consistency. Regular rest at night stabilizes daily rhythms. These rhythms improve energy levels and emotional balance. Night does not demand perfection. It accepts you as you are, tired, unfinished, imperfect. This acceptance is healing. Many people try to control sleep at night. They worry about whether they will rest. This effort creates tension. Night invites surrender, not control. Letting night be night means allowing darkness, quiet, and stillness to do their work. It means trusting natural rhythms. Night also encourages slowing of thoughts. Without daylight tasks, the mind gradually releases urgency. This release prepares the way for sleep. The body does not need entertainment at night. It needs calm. Excess stimulation delays rest. Night reduces comparison. Social noise fades. The mind turns inward. This inward focus reduces stress. Night also reminds you that rest is part of life, not an interruption. Day and night work together. Without night, there would be no recovery. Without recovery, effort would destroy the system. Night is a built-in pause. It exists whether you honor it or not. Honoring it improves life. Ignoring it increases strain. Night teaches humility. It reminds you that you cannot be awake forever. Limits are not flaws. They are design. When you accept night, you accept rest. When you fight night, you fight your biology. Night creates space for healing. Healing happens quietly, without effort. The body knows how to rest at night. It only needs the opportunity. Creating a peaceful night environment supports this process. Darkness, silence, and comfort help the body release tension. Night is not empty time. It is active recovery. Every night is a chance to reset, to let go, to begin again. When night is respected, days become lighter, energy stabilizes, mood improves. Night does not ask for productivity. It asks for surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is cooperation with nature. Night is made for rest because life needs rhythm. Without rhythm, systems fail. When you allow night to do its work, rest comes naturally. Night exists to protect you from exhaustion. It offers shelter from constant demand. Accepting night means accepting your humanity. Night is not something to fill. It is something to enter. Rest begins when night is allowed to be what it is. Night is made for rest, and rest is what allows life to continue with balance. Chapter 9. Letting go of the day. Every day carries weight. It carries tasks, conversations, decisions, emotions, and effort. Some of that weight is useful. It helps you move forward. But not all of it needs to be carried into the night. Letting go of the day is an essential part of rest. Without release, the body lies down, but the mind keeps holding on. Letting go of the day does not mean denying what happened. It does not mean pretending everything was perfect. It means acknowledging the day and then allowing it to end. The day has done its work. You do not need to continue working on it after it is over. Many people bring the day into the night without realizing it. They replay conversations. They review mistakes. They worry about unfinished tasks. The body is still, but the mind remains busy. This prevents deep rest. The nervous system stays alert as if the day is still happening. The day needs an ending. Without an ending, experiences remain open. Open experiences continue to demand attention. Letting go closes the day gently. It tells the mind that it can stop monitoring, evaluating, and fixing. Letting go begins with acceptance. Acceptance means recognizing that the day unfolded as it did. Some things went well. Some things did not. Both are true. Fighting reality increases tension. Accepting it allows release. Perfection is not required to let go. You do not need to complete everything. Life is ongoing. There will always be unfinished tasks. Rest does not require completion. It requires closure. Closure is a psychological process. It does not change what happened. It changes your relationship to it. Closure means you stop trying to control what is already past. Control belongs to action. The day is no longer active. Many people resist letting go because they fear forgetting something important. They think holding the day in their mind will protect them. In reality, holding increases stress and reduces sleep quality. Writing things down or trusting memory allows the mind to relax. Letting go also involves forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself and others. Mistakes happen. Words are misspoken. Effort is imperfect. Carrying blame into the night poisons rest. Forgiveness clears space for peace. Emotions from the day also need release. Stress, anger, disappointment, and even excitement keep the system activated. Rest requires emotional settling. Letting go does not suppress emotion. It allows emotion to soften. The body responds quickly when the mind lets go. Muscles relax, breathing deepens, heart rate slows. These changes prepare the system for sleep. Letting go of the day is easier with routine. Simple actions signal transition. Washing your face, changing clothes, dimming lights. These behaviors tell the body that the day is ending. Ritual creates psychological safety. It marks a boundary. When the boundary is clear, the mind follows. Without boundaries, work bleeds into rest. Stress becomes constant. Letting go re-establishes separation between effort and recovery. On the day often feels urgent while it is happening. Everything seems important. At night, that urgency is no longer real. Letting go means recognizing that urgency has expired. Many worries feel large at night because the mind is tired. Fatigue amplifies fear. Letting go reduces the mental load and makes worries less intense. Letting go is not ignoring responsibility. It is postponing it appropriately. Tomorrow is a better time to think clearly and act effectively. The mind often believes it must stay alert to be responsible. In reality, responsibility requires rest. A rested mind handles tasks better. Letting go also protects emotional health. Carrying the day without release leads to chronic tension. Over time, this tension becomes anxiety or exhaustion. The act of letting go trains the mind to trust rest. It learns that stopping does not cause disaster. This trust improves sleep over time. Letting go does not mean forgetting lessons. Learning can wait until the mind is rested. Reflection is more effective after sleep. Night is not the time for problem solving. Problem solving requires energy. Night is for restoration. Letting go respects this difference. The habit of letting go must be practiced. At first, the mind may resist. It may return to old thoughts. Gently bringing attention back to rest teaches the mind a new pattern. Letting go also involves gratitude. Acknowledging what went well helps the mind shift from tension to balance. Gratitude does not deny difficulty. It balances it. Letting go includes releasing expectations. Expectations create pressure. At night, pressure has no use. Rest thrives in openness. The day often leaves residue in the body. Tight shoulders, heavy eyes, shallow breath. Letting go mentally helps the body release this residue. Sleep becomes deeper when the mind is light. A light mind does not carry the weight of the entire day into dreams. Letting go also prepares you for tomorrow. It clears mental space. It resets emotional tone. Tomorrow begins with less baggage. People who struggle with sleep often struggle with letting go. They lie in bed but continue living the day in their mind. Learning to let go improves sleep naturally. Letting go does not require forcing thoughts away. Force creates resistance. Gentle redirection is more effective. The mind learns through repetition. Each night you practice letting go, it becomes easier. Letting go also reduces rumination. Rumination is repetitive thinking without resolution. Letting go interrupts this cycle. The body wants to rest. The mind often prevents it. Letting go aligns mind and body. Letting go of the day is an act of kindness toward yourself. It recognizes that effort has limits. You do not need to carry everything alone. Night is a shared pause. The world slows with you. Letting go creates emotional safety. Safety allows sleep. When you release the day, you allow the present moment to exist without demand. This is deeply restful. The day is over whether you hold it or not. Holding only increases strain. Letting go does not erase responsibility. It restores capacity. Rest improves memory, focus, and mood. Letting go makes rest possible. Night is not a continuation of the day. It is a separate phase. Letting go honors that separation. The practice of letting go transforms nights. Rest becomes deeper. Sleep becomes more natural. You are allowed to stop thinking about today. You are allowed to stop fixing it. Tomorrow will arrive whether you hold the day or release it. Letting go allows you to meet tomorrow with energy instead of fatigue. The day does not need you anymore. It has passed. Letting go is not forgetting. It is trusting that now is the time to rest. When you let go of the day, you step into the night fully. Rest welcomes you. Letting go is how the body and mind agree that it is time to sleep. Chapter 10. Resting without guilt. Guilt is one of the biggest enemies of rest. Many people stop moving, sit down, or lie in bed. But they do not actually rest. Their body pauses, but their mind keeps working. Thoughts appear that say that you should be doing something. You haven't done enough. Others are working harder than you. This inner pressure turns rest into another form of stress. Resting without guilt is a skill. It is not automatic for most people. Guilt has been learned over time. It grows from messages that equate worth with productivity. If you are not producing, you feel useless. If you are not busy, you feel behind. These ideas sink deep into the mind and follow you even into moments meant for recovery. Guilt during rest often sounds logical. It disguises itself as responsibility. It says, I am just being careful. I am just being disciplined. But discipline that destroys health is not discipline. Responsibility that ignores human limits is not responsibility. Guilt pretends to help, but it quietly harms. When guilt is present, rest loses its power. The body may stop, but stress hormones remain high. Muscles stay tense. Breathing stays shallow. The nervous system does not enter recovery mode. This is why some people sleep for many hours and still wake up tired. The body never fully rested because guilt kept it alert. Guilt also shortens rest. You may plan to rest, but guilt pushes you to get up early, cut breaks short, or multitask while resting. You check messages, think about work, or plan tomorrow. This constant mental activity reduces the benefits of rest. Resting without guilt requires changing how you see rest. Rest is not a break from being valuable. Rest is part of being functional. A system that never rests eventually fails. Machines overheat. Muscles tear. Minds burn out. Rest is maintenance, not indulgence. Many people believe they must feel exhausted to justify rest. They wait until they are completely drained before allowing themselves to stop. This approach teaches the body that care only comes after suffering. Over time, the body learns to push itself into exhaustion just to receive rest. This pattern is unhealthy. You do not need to suffer to deserve care. Rest taken before collapse is wise. It prevents damage. It keeps energy stable. Guilt convinces you that prevention is unnecessary, that you should push until forced to stop. This belief leads to burnout. Guilt often comes from comparison. You look at others and assume they are doing more, handling more, resting less. You do not see their full reality. You see a small image and build a harsh story. Comparison feeds guilt and steals peace. Rest is not a competition. There is no prize for resting the least. There is no medal for exhaustion. Health is not measured by how much you sacrifice. Guilt thrives in competitive thinking. Letting go of comparison weakens guilt. Resting without guilt also requires recognizing limits. Limits are not failures. They are part of being human. Your energy is not infinite. Your attention is not endless. Ignoring limits does not remove them. It only makes their consequences harsher. Guilt tells you to override limits. Rest tells you to respect them. Respecting limits preserves long-term strength. Overriding limits creates short-term output and long-term damage. Many people fear that if they rest without guilt, they will become lazy. This fear is based on misunderstanding. True rest restores motivation. And laziness avoids effort because effort feels meaningless or painful. Proper rest makes effort feel possible again. When guilt is removed, rest becomes deeper. You allow yourself to fully stop. You breathe more slowly. You release tension. The body finally receives the signal that it can recover. This kind of rest restores energy instead of just delaying exhaustion. Guilt also interferes with sleep. People lie in bed but mentally review their day. They replay mistakes. They think about unfinished tasks. Sleep becomes light and fragmented. Rest without guilt allows the mind to release control and enter deep sleep. Learning to rest without guilt may feel uncomfortable at first. Guilt may increase when you stop listening to it. This is normal. Guilt often gets louder before it loses power. Consistency weakens it. You do not need to argue with guilt. Arguing gives it attention. Instead, you can acknowledge it and choose rest anyway. Over time, the mind learns that rest does not lead to disaster. This builds trust. Resting without guilt also improves emotional balance. Guilt keeps emotions tense. Without guilt, emotions soften. You feel calmer, more patient, and more grounded. Guilt often comes from the belief that your value depends on output. Rest challenges this belief. It reminds you that you exist beyond what you produce. This reminder is uncomfortable for a culture built on constant doing, but it is necessary for mental health. Rest without guilt supports better decision-making. A calm mind chooses wisely. A guilty mind rushes to escape discomfort. Guilt-driven action often leads to poor choices. Guilt also distorts time perception. When guilty, rest feels like time wasted. In reality, rest saves time by improving efficiency later. Tasks done after rest take less effort and fewer mistakes. Resting without guilt improves relationships. When rested, you listen better. You react less. You are more present. Exhaustion fueled by guilt spreads tension to others. Guilt often hides behind the idea of responsibility to others. You tell yourself you cannot rest because others need you. In truth, others benefit more from a rested version of you than an exhausted one. Rest is not abandonment. It is preparation. It ensures you can continue showing up without resentment or collapse. Many people carry guilt because they were taught that rest must be justified. They were praised for pushing through pain and criticized for stopping. These lessons become internal voices. Unlearning them takes time. Resting without guilt is an act of re-education. You teach your nervous system that safety and care are allowed without crisis. This reduces chronic stress. Guilt also interferes with enjoyment. Even during leisure, guilt whispers that you should be productive. This prevents pleasure from being fully felt. Pleasure and rest are important for emotional health. Removing guilt does not remove structure. You can rest and still be responsible. You can plan rest just as you plan work. Planned rest reduces guilt because it has a place. Resting without guilt also improves physical health. Stress hormones decrease, blood pressure stabilizes, digestion improves, the immune system strengthens. These changes happen when rest is genuine. Guilt keeps the body in a defensive state. Defense blocks healing. Letting go of guilt opens the door to recovery. Many people feel guilty resting because they fear losing momentum. In reality, rest protects momentum. Without rest, momentum turns into strain. Rest without guilt improves creativity. Creativity requires mental space. Guilt fills that space with pressure. Removing guilt allows ideas to form naturally. Guilt also interferes with self-trust. You stop trusting your body's signals. You ignore fatigue. Resting without guilt restores trust between you and your body. You are allowed to rest even when things are unfinished. Life is always unfinished. Waiting for completion is waiting forever. Resting without guilt does not mean ignoring goals. It means supporting them sustainably. Sustainable effort lasts longer than forced effort. Guilt thrives on harsh inner rules. Or always be productive. Never waste time. These rules ignore reality. Replacing them with flexible principles reduces guilt. A healthier principle is this: effort and rest support each other. Neither works alone. Resting without guilt also reduces fear of stopping. You learn that pausing does not make everything fall apart. This reduces anxiety. Guilt often comes from perfectionism. Perfectionism says nothing is ever enough. Rest challenges this belief. It says, this is enough for now. Enough is a powerful concept. It ends the constant chase. It allows peace. Resting without guilt also improves sleep timing. When guilt is reduced, you go to bed earlier and sleep more deeply. The body responds quickly to permission. Permission is central to rest. You must give yourself permission to stop without explanation. You do not need to justify rest with exhaustion, illness, or crisis. Wanting rest is enough. Resting without guilt does not mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. Guilt confuses care with punishment. Rest corrects this confusion. Many people confuse guilt with motivation. They think guilt pushes them forward. In reality, guilt drains energy. Rest restores it. Motivation fueled by rest is calm and steady. Motivation fueled by guilt is frantic and short-lived. Resting without guilt also improves mood. Irritability decreases. Sadness feels lighter. Emotional resilience increases. Guilt keeps the nervous system tense. Relaxation cannot occur fully while guilt is present. Removing guilt allows true relaxation. Learning to rest without guilt is a process. It takes repetition. Each time you rest intentionally, guilt weakens a little. You may still feel guilt sometimes. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are changing a habit. Guilt loses power when it is no longer obeyed. Rest without guilt teaches the body that care is normal, not exceptional. Over time, this reduces burnout risk significantly. Resting without guilt also changes how you work. You work with more focus. You take breaks before exhaustion. You recover faster. This creates a healthier rhythm. Effort flows. Rest restores. Neither dominates. Guilt interrupts this rhythm. Removing it restores balance. You are allowed to rest because you are human, not because you have reached a limit. Rest is not something you steal from life. It is something life requires. When you rest without guilt, you align with reality instead of fighting it. Reality includes limits. Reality includes cycles. Rest honors both. Letting go of guilt is not selfish, it is responsible. Responsible care includes yourself. Resting without guilt is one of the most important skills for long-term well-being. It protects energy, it protects health, it protects clarity. When guilt leaves, rest finally does its job. And when rest does its job, life becomes lighter, steadier, and more sustainable. Rest without guilt is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Chapter 11. The Quiet Mind. A quiet mind is not an empty mind. This is one of the most important things to understand. Many people believe that a quiet mind means having no thoughts at all. When they try to rest and thoughts continue, they think they are doing something wrong. In reality, the mind is designed to think. Thoughts appearing is normal. A quiet mind does not mean silence. It means calm. A quiet mind is a mind that is not fighting itself. Thoughts may still appear, but they do not pull you in every direction. They pass without demanding attention. They do not create urgency. The mind feels spacious instead of crowded. Most mental noise comes from resistance. When you try to stop thoughts forcefully, the mind pushes back. This creates tension. Tension increases noise. Quiet does not come from control. It comes from allowing. The mind becomes loud when it is tired. Fatigue makes thoughts repeat. It makes worries feel urgent. It makes small problems seem large. Rest is what reduces this noise naturally. Trying to solve problems when the mind is exhausted is ineffective. The mind goes in circles. It revisits the same ideas without progress. This creates frustration. A quiet mind is not achieved by thinking harder. It is achieved by thinking less. The quiet mind appears when you stop feeding every thought. Not every thought deserves attention. Some thoughts are habits, not truths. When you stop reacting to them, they lose strength. The mind is like a room. When too many people talk at once, it feels chaotic. When fewer voices speak, clarity returns. Rest reduces the number of active thoughts. The quiet mind is deeply connected to the body. When the body is tense, the mind is restless. When the body relaxes, the mind follows. This is why physical rest supports mental quiet. Slow breathing helps quiet the mind because it calms the nervous system. A calm nervous system reduces mental urgency. Thoughts slow down when the body feels safe. Silence is not the same as quiet. Silence is the absence of sound. Quiet is the absence of pressure. You can be in silence and still feel mentally overwhelmed. Quiet comes from internal settling. The quiet mind does not rush. It is patient. It does not demand answers immediately. It allows questions to exist without forcing solutions. Many people fear the quiet mind because they believe it will bring uncomfortable thoughts or feelings. Sometimes it does, but avoiding quiet only delays healing. The mind needs space to process what has been ignored. When the mind is always busy, unresolved emotions remain buried. Quiet allows these emotions to surface gently. This is uncomfortable at first, but it leads to relief over time. A quiet mind is not passive. It is aware. Awareness without judgment is calming. Judgment increases noise. When you judge your thoughts, or you create conflict, when you observe them, you create space. Space reduces noise. The quiet mind is not dull. It is clear. Clarity improves decision-making. It improves creativity. It improves emotional balance. Many insights appear in moments of quiet. This is because the mind has room to connect ideas. Noise blocks insight. The quiet mind also improves sleep. When mental noise decreases, the mind releases control. Sleep arrives more easily. Without quiet, the mind stays alert. Nighttime is an opportunity for the quiet mind, but only if mental pressure is released. Carrying the day into the night prevents quiet. Letting go of the day prepares the mind for quiet. Resting without guilt removes inner conflict. Breathing slowly calms the system. All of these support mental quiet. The quiet mind is not something you force. It is something you allow. Allowing means not resisting what is present. Thoughts are like waves. If you fight them, you get pulled under. If you float, they pass. Quiet comes from floating, not fighting. The quiet mind does not mean you stop caring. It means you care without panic. Panic creates noise. A calm mind can face problems more effectively than a noisy one. It sees options clearly. It responds instead of reacting. Mental noise often comes from multitasking. Switching attention constantly tires the mind. Resting the mind means doing one thing at a time or doing nothing at all. Reducing input helps create a quiet mind. Constant information overload keeps the mind active. Silence and simplicity allow it to rest. The quiet mind feels spacious. There is room between thoughts. This space is restful, and this space allows emotions to settle. Without space, emotions pile on top of each other. A quiet mind also improves self-compassion. When noise reduces, harsh inner voices weaken. Kindness becomes possible. The quiet mind is more present. Presence is deeply restful because it removes unnecessary mental effort. Many people chase quiet by distracting themselves. They watch, scroll, or consume endlessly. Distraction numbs noise temporarily, but does not create quiet. Quiet comes from rest, not stimulation. True quiet may feel unfamiliar at first. Noise becomes normal in busy lives. Quiet can feel strange. With time, it becomes comforting. The quiet mind does not mean boredom. It means ease. Ease allows enjoyment. Mental quiet improves resilience. Challenges feel less threatening. Stress loses intensity. The quiet mind supports emotional regulation. Feelings are experienced without overwhelm. Quiet allows acceptance. Acceptance reduces resistance. Resistance creates noise. The quiet mind also improves memory. Without noise, information settles more deeply. Mental quiet is not permanent. The mind will become busy again. This is natural. The goal is not permanent silence. The goal is recovery. Each time you rest, quiet returns a little more easily. The quiet mind is available to everyone. It does not require special ability. It requires permission. Permission to stop thinking for a while. Permission to not solve everything. Permission to rest. Quiet does not come from effort. It comes from release. Release of urgency. Release of pressure. Release of self-criticism. The quiet mind allows the nervous system to recover. Recovery improves health. Many people confuse mental activity with usefulness. Quiet reminds you that usefulness does not require constant thinking. The mind is a tool, not a prison. Quiet returns it to its proper role. When the mind is quiet, awareness expands. You notice the body, you notice breath, you notice the present moment. This awareness is calming. The quiet mind also supports emotional honesty. Without noise, feelings can be felt without being amplified. The quiet mind improves relationships. You listen better, you respond with care. Mental noise often comes from unresolved pressure. Quiet gives that pressure space to dissolve. Quiet is not emptiness, it is openness. Open space is where rest happens. The quiet mind is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something you return to again and again. Each return strengthens the habit of calm. Over time, the mind learns that it does not need to be busy all the time. This learning reduces stress naturally. The quiet mind supports deeper sleep, better focus, and emotional balance. It is not a luxury. It is a foundation. Rest is incomplete without mental quiet. When the mind becomes quiet, rest deepens. And when rest deepens, the mind becomes quiet. They support each other. The quiet mind is not about forcing silence. It is about allowing calm. Calm restores clarity. Clarity restores peace. The quiet mind is where rest becomes complete. Chapter 12. Comfort in simple things. Comfort does not need to be complicated. Many people search for rest in big changes, expensive solutions, or perfect conditions. They believe comfort must be earned through effort or purchased through things. In reality, the deepest comfort often comes from the simplest sources. The body and mind respond to small signals of safety and ease far more than to grand gestures. Simple comfort works because it speaks directly to the nervous system. The nervous system does not understand status, plans, or future goals. It understands warmth, softness, quiet, and steadiness. When these elements are present, the body relaxes. When they are absent, tension remains. A soft place to sit or lie down provides immediate comfort. It tells the body that it no longer needs to hold itself rigidly. Muscles release when they feel supported. Support reduces effort. Reduced effort allows rest to begin. Temperature is another simple source of comfort. Feeling too cold or too hot keeps the body alert. Comfortable warmth signals safety. It allows muscles to relax and breathing to deepen. This is why wrapping yourself in a blanket or adjusting the room temperature can change how restful a moment feels. Light also plays a role in comfort. Harsh, bright light keeps the mind active. Soft, dim light reduces stimulation. It encourages calm. It tells the brain that alertness is no longer required. This simple change can make rest feel natural instead of forced. Sound effects comfort deeply. Loud or unpredictable noise keeps the nervous system vigilant. Quiet or gentle, steady sounds reduce alertness. Silence, when it feels safe, allows the mind to settle. Comfort grows when sound does not demand attention. Smell is often overlooked, but it strongly influences comfort. Familiar. Gentle scents signal safety and familiarity. The brain associates certain smells with calm moments. This association reduces stress without conscious effort. Comfort also comes from familiarity. Familiar surroundings feel safer than unfamiliar ones. The body relaxes more easily in spaces it recognizes. This is why resting at home often feels easier than resting in new places. Simple routines create comfort through predictability. Predictability reduces uncertainty. Uncertainty increases stress. When the body knows what comes next, it relaxes. Repeating the same small actions before rest builds a sense of safety. Comfort is also emotional. Being kind to yourself creates internal comfort. Harsh self-talk increases tension. Gentle inner language reduces it. Comfort grows when the mind stops attacking itself. Simple comforts often involve slowing down, drinking water slowly, sitting without distraction, stretching gently. These actions reduce urgency. Reduced urgency supports rest. Many people underestimate how much discomfort they tolerate daily. Tight clothing, poor posture, constant noise, bright screens. These small discomforts accumulate. Over time, they create background stress. Removing even one source of discomfort can significantly improve rest. Comfort does not require perfection. It requires adequacy. The body does not need luxury. It needs enough. Enough softness, enough quiet, enough warmth. Searching for perfect comfort often delays rest. You wait for ideal conditions that never arrive. Accepting simple comfort allows rest to begin now. Comfort also comes from simplicity of thought. Reducing mental clutter supports rest. Letting go of unnecessary decisions eases the mind. Fewer choices mean less effort. Simple comfort includes allowing yourself to stop trying to improve the moment. Rest is not a task. It does not need optimization. Comfort appears when effort ends. The body responds to gentleness. Rough movement keeps muscles tense. Gentle movement allows release. Stretching slowly, changing positions carefully, or simply being still communicates care. Comfort also involves hydration and nourishment. Hunger and thirst keep the body alert. Simple nourishment supports relaxation. Eating lightly before rest prevents discomfort that disrupts sleep. Many people confuse stimulation with comfort. Screens, constant entertainment, and noise may distract, but they do not comfort. They keep the nervous system active. True comfort calms. Comfort allows the body to lower its defenses. Defenses are useful during danger, but unnecessary during rest. Lowering defenses allows recovery. Simple comfort also involves boundaries. Turning off notifications, stepping away from demands. These actions remove pressure. Pressure prevents comfort. Comfort does not need explanation. The body responds immediately. When conditions are supportive, relaxation happens automatically. Simple comfort creates a foundation for deeper rest. Without comfort, rest feels incomplete. The body remains partially alert. Comfort is also connected to posture, supporting the spine, relaxing the jaw, unclenching the hands. These adjustments reduce tension. Many people hold tension without realizing it. Simple awareness allows release. Comfort grows as tension leaves. Comfort can be created intentionally. You do not need to wait for it. You can arrange your environment to support rest. Comfort also comes from slowing expectations. You do not need to feel perfectly calm. Allowing yourself to feel as you are creates ease. Trying to force comfort creates discomfort. Letting comfort be simple allows it to arise naturally. The nervous system prefers consistency over intensity. Small, consistent comforts are more effective than occasional big ones. Comfort also supports emotional safety. When the body feels safe, emotions soften. Emotional safety allows deeper rest. Simple comforts are reliable. They do not depend on external success or achievement. They are always available. Comfort is not indulgence. It is regulation. It brings the system back to balance. Many people deny themselves comfort because they believe they do not deserve it. This belief increases stress. Comfort does not require worthiness. It supports health. Allowing comfort is an act of listening to the body. It shows respect for its needs. Comfort prepares the mind for sleep. Without comfort, sleep remains shallow. Simple comfort does not solve all problems, but it reduces the strain of carrying them. Comfort reduces vigilance. Reduced vigilance allows recovery. The body heals best in comfort. Healing requires relaxation. Comfort does not distract from responsibility. It supports the ability to meet it. Life becomes less heavy when comfort is allowed regularly. Comfort teaches the body that rest is safe. When comfort is present, rest deepens. Simple things hold great power. Softness, quiet, warmth, familiarity. These are not small. They are foundational. Rest grows from comfort. Comfort grows from simplicity. The more you allow simple comfort, the easier rest becomes. Rest does not require complexity. It requires care. Comfort is care expressed quietly. When you choose simple comfort, you choose balance over strain. And in that balance, the body and mind finally allow themselves to rest. Chapter 13. Trusting sleep. Trusting sleep is difficult for many people. They lie down at night wanting rest, but instead of relaxing, they start worrying about whether they will sleep. They check the time. They count hours. They calculate how tired they will be tomorrow. This anxiety turns sleep into a task instead of a natural process. The more they try to control it, the more it escapes. Sleep does not respond well to force. It is not something you can command. You cannot order your body to fall asleep in the same way you can tell your hand to move. Sleep arrives when conditions are right. Trust is one of those conditions. Trusting sleep means believing that your body knows how to rest. Your body has been sleeping since before you had words. Long before schedules, alarms, and screens, the body followed natural rhythms. That knowledge has not disappeared. It only gets blocked by stress and overthinking. Many people treat sleep like a performance. They judge it. They label nights as good or bad. They worry about results. This pressure creates tension. Tension keeps the nervous system alert. An alert nervous system resists sleep. Trust removes pressure. When you trust sleep, you stop monitoring it. You stop checking progress. You allow the process to unfold without interference. This allows the nervous system to relax. Sleep works best when you let go of expectations. Expecting to fall asleep quickly creates frustration if it does not happen. Frustration activates the mind. Letting go of expectations removes this loop. Trusting sleep also means accepting wakefulness without panic. Sometimes the body needs more time. Sometimes it is processing something. Being awake for a while does not mean something is wrong. Panic makes wakefulness longer. Acceptance shortens it. The body moves towards sleep when it feels safe. Safety does not come from effort. It comes from surrender. Trust is a form of surrender. It says, I do not need to control this. Many people fear that if they stop trying to sleep, they will never sleep. This fear comes from past exhaustion. In reality, letting go often allows sleep to arrive naturally. Trusting sleep requires patience. The body may take time to relearn how to rest if it has been stressed for a long period. Just as tension builds slowly, trust also builds slowly. Sleep anxiety often develops after repeated bad nights. Each difficult night reinforces fear. Fear then becomes part of bedtime. Trust breaks this cycle by removing fear from the equation. You cannot think your way into sleep. Thinking keeps the brain active. Trusting sleep means allowing thinking to slow naturally instead of trying to shut it down. Trust also means allowing imperfect sleep. Not every night will be deep and long. The body adapts. One imperfect night does not ruin health. Worrying about it does more harm than the sleep itself. When you trust sleep, you stop treating the night as a test. You stop judging yourself for being awake. You stop fighting the moment. This softness allows rest to deepen. The body responds quickly to reduced pressure. Heart rate slows. Breathing deepens. Muscles relax. These changes happen when control is released. Trusting sleep also means trusting recovery. Even light rest has value. Lying quietly with eyes closed still allows the nervous system to recover. Sleep is not all or nothing. Many people underestimate the body's resilience. The body knows how to balance itself over time. Trusting this resilience reduces anxiety. Sleep is a natural function, not a skill you must master. Babies sleep without instruction. Animals sleep without effort. Humans are the only ones who try to force it. Trusting sleep also means reducing the habit of clock watching. Clocks turn rest into math. Math activates the mind. Removing time awareness allows relaxation. Trust grows when you focus on comfort instead of outcome. Instead of asking, "Am I sleeping yet?" ask, "Am I comfortable right now?" Comfort leads to sleep. Pressure blocks it. Trusting sleep also involves trusting the night itself. Darkness supports rest. Quiet supports rest. Stillness supports rest. The environment is working with you. Many people fight the night by filling it with stimulation. This sends mixed signals to the brain. Trusting sleep means allowing night to do its job. Trusting sleep does not mean ignoring sleep habits. It means not obsessing over them. Gentle routines help. Obsession harms. Trust includes forgiveness. If you slept poorly last night, tonight is a new opportunity. Carrying frustration into bed increases tension. The mind often believes it must stay alert to protect you. Trust teaches the mind that vigilance is not needed right now. Sleep is a cooperative process. The body and mind must agree to rest. Trust is how agreement is reached. Trying harder does not help. Letting go does. Trusting sleep also reduces daytime anxiety. When you trust that rest will come, you stop worrying about the future. Sleep is not fragile. It may feel that way when stressed, but it is resilient. Trust reconnects you with that resilience. Many people chase sleep by controlling everything. Perfect schedules, perfect routines, perfect silence. These efforts create rigidity. Rigidity creates tension. Trust allows flexibility. Flexibility allows relaxation. Trusting sleep also helps during periods of change. Travel, stress, and new routines disrupt sleep temporarily. Trust prevents these disruptions from becoming long-term problems. Sleep returns faster when it is not feared. Trust does not mean ignoring discomfort. It means responding gently, adjusting position, breathing slowly, softening attention. Trusting sleep means allowing the body to lead. The body knows when it is ready. Sleep cannot be rushed. It has its own timing. Trust respects that timing. When you trust sleep, bedtime becomes calmer. The night feels less threatening. The mind stops preparing for failure. Trust also reduces the urge to distract. You do not need constant noise or content to fall asleep. Silence becomes safe again. Trusting sleep allows dreams to emerge naturally. Dreams are part of emotional processing. They need space to arise. The body prefers predictability, but it also adapts. Trust helps the body adjust without panic. Sleep improves when trust replaces effort. Effort creates resistance. Trust removes it. Trusting sleep is an act of kindness toward yourself. It acknowledges that rest is not something you must fight for. Sleep arrives when the body feels allowed to rest. Trust is permission. Permission allows release. Release allows sleep. You do not need to watch for sleep. It finds you when you stop searching. Trusting sleep means lying down without expectation and letting the night unfold. Some nights will be deep, some will be light. Both are part of life. Trusting sleep reduces struggle. Reduced struggle invites rest. The night does not need your effort. It needs your cooperation. Cooperation looks like softness, patience, and letting go. Sleep is not something you do, and it is something that happens when you stop doing. Trust allows that to happen. When you trust sleep, You stop standing in its way. And when you stop standing in its way, sleep returns quietly, doing what it has always known how to do. Chapter 14. Accepting tiredness. Tiredness is often misunderstood. Many people treat it like an enemy, something to fight, hide, or ignore. They push through it with caffeine, noise, and constant activity. They tell themselves that feeling tired means they are weak, lazy, or undisciplined. This misunderstanding creates unnecessary suffering. Tiredness is not a failure. It is information. Tiredness is the body and mind communicating honestly. It is a signal that energy has been used and needs to be restored. Just as hunger signals the need for food, tiredness signals the need for rest. Ignoring this signal does not make it disappear. It only forces the system to operate without the fuel it needs. Accepting tiredness does not mean giving up. It means listening. Listening allows you to respond wisely instead of react blindly. When tiredness is accepted, it can guide you toward balance. When it is rejected, it turns into exhaustion. Many people fear tiredness because they associate it with loss of control. They believe that if they allow themselves to feel tired, everything will slow down or fall apart. In reality, resisting tiredness creates more instability. Acceptance creates clarity. Tiredness becomes overwhelming when it is judged. Thoughts like, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "something is wrong with me," add mental strain. This strain increases fatigue. Acceptance removes this extra layer of pressure. Accepting tiredness means acknowledging reality without trauma. It means saying, "I'm tired right now," without attaching blame or fear. This simple acknowledgement reduces internal conflict. The body responds positively to acceptance. When tiredness is acknowledged, tension decreases. The nervous system relaxes slightly. Energy stops leaking through resistance. This creates space for recovery. Many people confuse tiredness with laziness. Laziness is avoidance of effort despite having energy. Tiredness is lack of energy despite willingness. Treating tiredness as laziness leads to self-criticism and guilt. Treating tiredness as information leads to care. Accepting tiredness does not always mean stopping completely. Sometimes it means adjusting pace. Sometimes it means resting. Sometimes it means doing less. The key is flexibility instead of force. Tiredness often carries emotional weight. It can make everything feel heavier. Problems seem bigger. Motivation drops. This emotional effect is temporary. But when tiredness is ignored, it becomes persistent. Chronic tiredness often develops from long periods of unacknowledged fatigue. The body learns that signals are ignored, so it intensifies them. What could have been resolved with small rest becomes deep exhaustion. Accepting tiredness early prevents burnout. Burnout is not sudden. It is the result of repeated denial of limits. Acceptance interrupts this pattern. Many people push through tiredness because they believe rest will come later. Later often becomes never. Accepting tiredness now prevents crisis later. Tiredness also affects thinking. When tired, judgment weakens. Focus decreases. Accepting tiredness helps you avoid making important decisions in a depleted state. Trying to be productive while exhausted often creates more work. Mistakes increase. Efficiency drops. Accepting tiredness protects quality. Accepting tiredness also reduces shame. Shame thrives on denial. When you accept your state, shame loses power. You stop attacking yourself for being human. The body does not expect perfection. It expects responsiveness. When you respond to tiredness with care, the body supports you better. Accepting tiredness improves sleep. When you allow yourself to feel tired without fighting it, the transition to rest becomes smoother. Fighting tiredness keeps the nervous system alert. Some people fear tiredness because it reminds them of vulnerability. Vulnerability feels unsafe in cultures that praise strength and endurance. Accepting tiredness challenges these beliefs. It redefines strength as awareness. Tiredness is not a sign that you are incapable. It is a sign that you have been capable for a long time without enough recovery. Accepting tiredness also improves emotional regulation. Instead of snapping at others or withdrawing, you recognize the real cause and respond gently. Many conflicts happen when people are tired. Accepting tiredness allows you to pause instead of react. Tiredness is often layered. Physical fatigue, mental fatigue, and emotional fatigue can coexist. Acceptance helps you identify which kind you are experiencing. Physical tiredness asks for sleep or rest. Mental tiredness asks for quiet and simplicity. Emotional tiredness asks for gentleness and compassion. Acceptance helps you respond appropriately. Ignoring tiredness often leads to unhealthy coping strategies, overstimulation, overeating, excess caffeine, endless scrolling. These strategies numb fatigue temporarily, but worsen it long term. Accepting tiredness reduces the need for numbing behaviors. When care replaces avoidance, balance returns. Tiredness also has a rhythm. Energy rises and falls naturally during the day. Fighting this rhythm creates strain. Accepting it allows smoother flow. You are not meant to feel energetic all the time. Constant energy is not normal. Variation is natural. Acceptance aligns you with this reality. Accepting tiredness also improves self-trust. You begin to trust your body's signals instead of overriding them. This trust builds resilience, as the body remembers how it is treated. When tiredness is respected, the body becomes more cooperative. Energy returns more reliably. Accepting tiredness does not mean lowering standards forever. It means adjusting temporarily. Temporary adjustment prevents permanent damage. Many people feel guilty when tired. They think they should be stronger. This guilt increases fatigue. Acceptance removes guilt. Tiredness is not a moral issue. It is a biological and psychological state. Morality has nothing to do with energy levels. Accepting tiredness also improves relationships. You communicate your limits clearly. You stop overextending. Boundaries become healthier. When tiredness is ignored, resentment builds. When it is accepted, honesty replaces resentment. Tiredness can also be a sign of emotional overload. Accepting it allows emotions to be acknowledged instead of suppressed. Suppressing fatigue does not eliminate it. It stores it. Stored fatigue eventually demands attention, often at inconvenient times. Accepting tiredness is proactive. It prevents collapse. Many people wait until they are completely depleted to rest. This is like waiting until an engine overheats before adding oil. Acceptance allows maintenance before damage. Tiredness also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not limitless. Limits are not flaws. They are design. Design includes rest cycles. Ignoring design creates dysfunction. Accepting tiredness also helps you prioritize. When energy is limited, you choose what truly matters. This clarity improves life quality. Tiredness often reveals what you have been carrying unnecessarily. Acceptance allows you to let go. Letting go restores energy faster than pushing. Accepting tiredness does not mean surrendering to it forever. It means cooperating with it so it passes naturally. Tiredness that is accepted often softens quickly. Tiredness that is resisted lingers. Acceptance changes your relationship with fatigue. It becomes a guide instead of an enemy. When you stop fighting tiredness, you conserve energy. Conserved energy accelerates recovery. Accepting tiredness also improves patience. You stop demanding immediate performance from yourself. Patience reduces stress. Reduced stress restores energy. Tiredness can feel discouraging when it is misunderstood. Acceptance reframes it as a normal part of effort. Effort without rest leads to depletion. Rest without guilt restores balance. Accepting tiredness is an act of intelligence. It recognizes cause and effect. The body and mind are not designed to be pushed endlessly. Accepting tiredness respects this truth. When you accept tiredness, you stop treating yourself like a machine and start treating yourself like a living system. Living systems require cycles. Acceptance supports those cycles. Tiredness is not a dead end. It is a signpost. The signpost points toward rest, adjustment, or care. Ignoring signposts leads to breakdown. Following them leads to balance. Accepting tiredness allows you to respond before damage occurs. This response may be rest, slowing down, or simplifying. Whatever the response, acceptance is the first step. Without acceptance, change is impossible. Accepting tiredness is not weakness. It is awareness. Awareness allows wisdom. Wisdom allows sustainability. Sustainability allows life to continue with less struggle. Tiredness does not need to be feared. It needs to be understood. When you accept tiredness, you align with reality instead of fighting it. Reality includes limits, cycles, and recovery. Accepting tiredness allows recovery to begin. Recovery restores energy. Energy returns when it is no longer forced. Accepting tiredness is how you stop draining yourself unnecessarily. It is how you protect your future strength. It is how you honor the truth of being human. Tiredness is not the end of productivity or purpose. It is the body asking for balance. When you accept that request, balance returns quietly. Chapter 15. Rest and Emotions. Emotions do not exist only in the mind. They live in the body as well. Stress tightens muscles. Fear speeds up the heart. Sadness drains energy. Joy lifts posture and breath. Every emotion leaves a physical trace. Because of this connection, rest and emotions are deeply linked. When rest is missing, emotions become harder to manage. When rest is present, emotions soften and settle. Many people try to control their emotions through thinking alone. They analyze, judge, or suppress what they feel. This often fails because emotions are not only thoughts, they are bodily states. Rest addresses the body directly, which is why it is so effective for emotional balance. When you are tired, emotions lose flexibility. You become more reactive. Small frustrations feel intense. Minor disappointments feel heavy. This happens because emotional regulation requires energy. Without rest, that energy is unavailable. Rest restores emotional capacity. It gives you space between feeling and reaction. In that space, choice becomes possible. Without rest, emotions push behavior automatically. Emotional exhaustion often hides behind physical tiredness. You may feel drained without knowing why. This is often the result of carrying emotions without release. Rest allows emotions to be processed instead of stored. Unprocessed emotions accumulate. They sit in the nervous system, keeping it alert. This alertness prevents deep rest, creating a cycle. Rest breaks this cycle by calming the system enough for emotions to move through. Sleep plays a major role in emotional processing. During sleep, the brain revisits emotional experiences from the day. It reduces their intensity and integrates them into memory. This is why problems often feel smaller after a good night's sleep. Without enough sleep, emotional experiences remain raw. They carry the same intensity into the next day. Over time, this leads to emotional overload. Rest during waking hours also helps emotions settle. Sitting quietly, breathing slowly, and allowing feelings to exist without judgment reduces their grip. Emotions need space, not pressure. Many people fear resting with emotions because they worry feelings will become overwhelming. In reality, avoidance often makes emotions stronger. Rest allows emotions to surface gently without escalation. Emotions are like waves. When resisted, they crash harder. When allowed, they pass. Rest creates the conditions for allowing. Rest also reduces emotional numbness. Constant pushing and overstimulation dull emotional awareness. Rest brings sensitivity back, but in a manageable way. When emotions are acknowledged during rest, they lose urgency. You realize you do not need to act on every feeling immediately. This reduces impulsive behavior. Rest helps separate current emotions from old ones. Fatigue blurs this line. You may react to present situations with intensity that belongs to the past. Rest clarifies what belongs where. Emotional rest is not the same as distraction. Distraction avoids emotion. Rest allows it. Avoidance delays healing. Allowing supports it. Rest also improves empathy. When rested, you understand others more easily. Exhaustion narrows perspective and increases self-focus. Emotional resilience grows with rest. Resilience is not about suppressing feelings. It is about recovering from them. Rest is recovery. Many conflicts escalate because people are emotionally tired. Words spoken in exhaustion are often regretted. Rest reduces conflict by restoring emotional balance. Rest also helps regulate mood. Mood swings often worsen with sleep deprivation. Regular rest stabilizes emotional tone. Emotions need rhythm, just like energy. Intensity must be followed by calm. Rest provides that calm. Emotional rest does not require solving emotional problems immediately. Sometimes, simply resting with them reduces their intensity enough for clarity to emerge later. Rest teaches emotions that they do not need to shout to be heard. When you make space regularly, emotions communicate more gently. Rest also reduces emotional fear. When you are exhausted, fear feels larger. Rest restores a sense of safety. Safety allows emotions to settle. Without safety, emotions stay alert. Rest supports emotional honesty. When you are not rushed, you can feel what you actually feel instead of what you think you should feel. This honesty prevents emotional buildup. Emotional buildup often leads to sudden overwhelm. Rest releases pressure gradually, preventing breakdown. Rest also helps you recognize emotional limits. You learn when to pause, step back, or say no. This protects emotional health. Ignoring emotional limits leads to resentment. Rest restores boundaries. Emotional rest includes kindness toward yourself. Harsh self-judgment increases emotional strain. Gentleness reduces it. Rest and self-compassion reinforce each other. Compassion invites rest. Rest makes compassion easier. Emotions are not problems to fix. They are experiences to move through. Rest supports movement. When rest is missing, emotions feel stuck. When rest is present, emotions flow. Rest also improves emotional memory. Painful moments lose sharpness over time when processed properly. Rest supports this fading. Without rest, emotional memories remain vivid and intrusive. Rest reduces emotional rumination. Rumination feeds on fatigue. Energy restores perspective. Emotional rest also improves motivation. When emotions settle, motivation returns naturally. Rest allows joy to be felt again. Exhaustion blocks pleasure. Emotions need contrast. Rest provides contrast to effort and stress. Without contrast, emotional life becomes flat or overwhelming. Rest also helps integrate emotional learning. You understand what experiences meant after you have rested. Trying to understand emotions while exhausted often leads to confusion. Rest supports emotional growth. Growth requires reflection. Reflection requires calm. Emotional maturity depends on rest. Without rest, even mature people react poorly. Rest also reduces emotional defensiveness. Calm allows openness. When you rest, you stop bracing against life. Bracing consumes energy and intensifies emotion. Emotions settle when the body feels supported. Support comes from rest. Rest is not avoidance of emotion. It is the environment in which emotions resolve. Emotional strength is not endless endurance. It is the ability to recover. Rest enables recovery. Rest also improves emotional communication. You express feelings more clearly when calm. Misunderstandings decrease when people are rested. Emotions feel safer when rest is regular. Safety allows vulnerability. Vulnerability allows connection. Connection reduces emotional isolation. Isolation increases emotional strain. Rest indirectly supports emotional connection by restoring capacity. When you rest, you become more available to yourself and others. Emotional balance is not achieved through effort alone. It requires recovery. Recovery is rest. Rest gives emotions room to breathe. Breathing space softens intensity. Softened intensity allows understanding. Understanding reduces suffering. Rest is not emotional weakness, it is emotional wisdom. Wise emotion management includes rest as a core practice. Without rest, emotions dominate. With rest, emotions inform. This difference changes everything. Rest and emotions are partners. One supports the other. When rest is honored, emotions become guides instead of obstacles. When emotions are respected, rest deepens. Together, they create balance. Balance allows stability. Stability allows peace. Rest supports emotional peace not by removing feelings, but by allowing them to pass naturally. And when emotions pass naturally, the mind and body finally feel light enough to rest deeply again. Chapter 16. Being present in rest. Rest becomes deeper when you are present. Presence means being here, in this moment, without mentally traveling elsewhere. Many people try to rest while their mind is still in the past or future. Their body lies down, but their attention keeps moving. True rest begins when attention stops wandering and settles into now. Being present in rest does not require effort. Effort pulls you away from rest. Presence is about noticing what is already here, the feeling of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the quiet of the room. These simple sensations anchor you in the present moment. The mind often resists presence because it is used to movement. It jumps to plans, worries, and memories. This movement feels normal, but it costs energy. Each mental jump uses effort. Presence reduces this effort by allowing the mind to stay with one thing. When attention is scattered, rest remains shallow. The body cannot fully relax if the mind is constantly scanning for problems. Presence signals safety. Safety allows muscles to soften and breathing to deepen. Being present does not mean stopping all thoughts. Thoughts may still appear, but they are no longer the center of attention. They pass in the background while awareness stays with the body and breath. Many people believe presence requires concentration. They try to focus hard. This creates tension. True presence is gentle. It is more like noticing than focusing. Noticing requires less energy than controlling. Presence also reduces time pressure. When you are fully present, you are not measuring time. You are not thinking about what comes next. This removes urgency. Urgency keeps the nervous system alert. Presence calms it. Rest improves when you stop mentally preparing for the future. Preparation is useful during action, but unnecessary during rest. Presence tells the mind that nothing needs to be done right now. Being present also reduces regret. Regret lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. Presence lives here. When you rest in presence, regret and anxiety lose their power. Presence allows you to feel rest instead of thinking about rest. Many people think about resting instead of experiencing it. They analyze whether they are relaxed enough. This analysis pulls them out of the experience. Presence ends analysis. The body always lives in the present. When attention joins the body, alignment happens. Alignment reduces internal conflict. Conflict consumes energy. Rest requires harmony. Being present in rest also improves sleep. When attention settles, the mind releases control. Sleep arrives more naturally. Without presence, the mind keeps watching, waiting, and evaluating. Presence teaches patience. You stop rushing the moment. Rushing prevents rest. Patience allows it. Many people avoid presence because they fear boredom. Boredom is simply the absence of stimulation. The body often needs that absence to recover. What feels boring at first often becomes calming. Presence also reveals subtle comfort. The weight of the body being supported, the warmth of the room, the ease of breathing. These details are missed when attention is elsewhere. Rest is not only about stopping movement. It is about stopping unnecessary mental effort. Presence removes that effort. Being present also strengthens self-awareness. You notice tension earlier. You feel fatigue sooner. This allows timely care instead of crisis. Presence during rest reduces overthinking. Overthinking feeds on distance from the moment. Presence brings attention back. You do not need to create presence. You return to it. It is always available. Presence also improves emotional settling. When emotions are felt in the present without story, they soften. Stories add intensity. Presence removes story. Rest deepens. when you allow sensations to be as they are. You do not need to change them. Changing creates effort. Allowing creates ease. Being present does not mean ignoring responsibilities. It means choosing the right time for them. Rest time is not responsibility time. Presence also reduces restlessness. Restlessness comes from wanting the moment to be different. Presence accepts the moment. Acceptance does not mean liking everything. It means not fighting what is already happening. Fighting drains energy. Presence during rest is a form of trust. You trust that now is enough. This trust reduces tension. Many people struggle to be present because they believe they should be productive. Presence challenges this belief. It says that existing is enough right now. Rest needs this permission. Permission allows the nervous system to stand down. Presence also slows perception. When present, moments feel fuller. This fullness reduces the urge to rush. Rest is not measured by time, it is measured by quality. Presence improves quality. You can practice presence gently. Notice one breath, feel one sensation, listen to one sound. This is enough. When attention wanders, return without judgment. Judgment creates stress. Returning gently builds calm. Presence is not something you achieve once. It is something you return to repeatedly. Each return strengthens the habit of a calm attention. Presence also improves recovery from stress. Stress narrows attention. Presence widens it. Widened attention reduces pressure. Being present in rest also improves resilience. You recover faster from effort. Presence allows the body to do its work. Healing happens when interference stops. Many people think rest requires sleep. Presence allows rest even while awake. Awake rest is powerful. It reduces accumulated fatigue. Presence also improves appreciation. Small moments feel meaningful. Meaning reduces emptiness. Emptiness often drives overactivity. Restlessness often comes from disconnection. Presence reconnects you with yourself. Being present does not require long periods. Even short moments matter. Short moments practiced often change the system. Presence also improves breathing. When attention rests on breath, it slows naturally. Slower breathing deepens rest. Presence reduces mental noise by reducing mental travel. Travel costs energy. Staying costs less. Rest is energy conservation. Presence supports conservation. Presence also reduces the fear of rest. You learn that stopping is safe. Safety allows deeper relaxation. Being present in rest is not about effort. It is about allowing what is already here. Allowing ends struggle. When struggle ends, rest begins. Presence is the doorway through which rest enters fully. When you are present, you stop waiting for rest to happen later. You experience it now. Now is the only place rest exists. The past cannot rest. The future cannot rest. Only the present can. Being present in rest means choosing to be here instead of elsewhere. This choice is quiet, simple, and powerful. It does not change the world. It changes your experience of it. And when experience softens, the body and mind finally rest together, without resistance, without effort, without delay. Chapter 17. Rest is a daily practice. Rest is not something you do once and forget. It is not a solution you apply only when you are exhausted. Rest works best when it becomes a daily practice. Just like eating, drinking, or sleeping, rest needs regular attention. When rest is practiced daily, energy stays stable. When it is delayed, fatigue accumulates. Many people treat rest as an emergency response. They push themselves for days or weeks and then collapse. This pattern is damaging. Recovery from collapse takes longer than recovery from regular effort. Daily rest prevents the need for drastic recovery. A daily rest practice does not have to be long. It does not need special equipment or perfect conditions. It simply needs consistency. Small, repeated pauses are more effective than rare, long breaks. The body responds well to predictability. When rest happens at regular times, the nervous system learns to relax more easily. It does not need to be forced into rest. It expects it. Daily rest supports the natural rhythm of energy. Energy rises and falls throughout the day. Ignoring these fluctuations creates strain. Respecting them creates flow. Morning rest may look like starting the day slowly. A calm breath, a moment of quiet before activity. This sets a stable tone. Midday rest may look like a short pause, stepping away from work, sitting quietly, stretching gently. These pauses prevent exhaustion from building. Evening rest may look like slowing down earlier, reducing stimulation, allowing the body to transition into night. This prepares the system for deep sleep. Daily rest practices do not compete with productivity, they support it. When energy is stable, work quality improves. Many people fear that if they rest daily, they will lose momentum. In reality, daily rest protects momentum. It prevents burnout and keeps effort sustainable. Rest as a practice also improves self-awareness. You begin to notice early signs of fatigue. This allows timely adjustment instead of crisis. Daily rest reduces stress accumulation. Stress that is released regularly does not become chronic. Rest practices also improve emotional balance. Small moments of rest prevent emotional overload. A daily rest practice trains the mind to release control regularly. This makes it easier to let go at night. Without daily rest, the mind carries the entire day into sleep. With daily rest, the mind arrives at night already lighter. Rest as a practice also improves physical health. Muscles recover more effectively. Tension is released before it becomes pain. Daily rest improves breathing habits. Regular pauses encourage slower, deeper breathing. Rest practice also improves posture. Pausing allows the body to reset alignment. Many people underestimate how much effort they expend unconsciously. Constant mental activity, tension, and vigilance drain energy. Daily rest reduces this drain. Rest as a practice does not require stopping life. It requires weaving rest into life. You do not need to wait for free time. You create rest within time. Rest practices can be simple. Sitting quietly for a few minutes, closing your eyes, taking slow breaths. These actions are enough. The value of rest comes from repetition, not duration. Daily rest also builds trust between you and your body. The body learns that its needs will be met. This trust reduces stress responses. When the body trusts you, it relaxes more quickly. Daily rest also reduces the fear of stopping. Stopping becomes normal instead of threatening. Rest as a practice supports emotional resilience. You recover from stress faster. Daily rest also improves attention. When the mind rests regularly, focus sharpens. Rest practices help prevent mental overload. Overload often comes from ignoring early signs of fatigue. Rest as a daily habit also reduces irritability. Tension is released before it affects mood. Daily rest improves patience. Patience improves relationships. Rest practices also improve creativity. Creative ideas often appear during rest. Without daily rest, creativity becomes forced. Forced creativity is inefficient. Rest as a practice also supports learning. The brain needs pauses to consolidate information. Daily rest allows learning to settle. Rest practices also reduce anxiety. Anxiety thrives on constant alertness. Rest reduces alertness safely. Rest does not require isolation. You can rest quietly even in shared spaces by turning attention inward. Daily rest practices can adapt to different situations. The principle remains the same. Pause, soften, release. Rest as a practice also changes how you view effort. Effort becomes something you engage with intentionally, not something that controls you. Rest practice teaches balance. Balance reduces extremes. Daily rest also improves sleep quality. The nervous system arrives at night already calmer. Rest practices create a buffer between stress and rest. Without this buffer, transitions are abrupt and difficult. Daily rest also helps manage emotional triggers. You are less reactive when rested. Rest as a practice supports long-term health. Chronic stress decreases, energy stabilizes. Rest does not require perfection. Some days rest will be deeper, some days lighter. Consistency matters more than quality. Missing a rest practice does not mean failure. It means returning next time. Rest as a practice is flexible. It adapts to life changes. The key is intention, choosing to pause regularly. Daily rest also improves self-respect. It shows that you value your well-being. Rest practice is not selfish. It allows you to show up more fully for others. When you rest regularly, you give from a fuller place. Rest as a practice also reduces burnout risk significantly. Burnout is not caused by effort alone. It is caused by effort without recovery. Daily rest provides recovery. Rest practices also improve decision-making. A rested mind chooses wisely. And daily rest supports emotional clarity. You understand feelings better. Rest practice also improves physical endurance. Recovery supports strength. Rest does not slow progress. It sustains it. Progress without rest collapses. Progress with rest continues. Daily rest creates a rhythm. Rhythm supports stability. Stability supports growth. Rest as a daily practice aligns you with natural cycles. These cycles exist whether you honor them or not. Honoring them improves life quality. Ignoring them increases strain. Daily rest also builds resilience against unexpected stress. When stress appears, you recover faster. Rest practice also reduces the fear of exhaustion. You trust that recovery is built into your day. This trust reduces anxiety. Rest is not something you save for weekends or vacations. It is something you practice every day. Rest as a daily practice transforms how you experience effort, time, and energy. Life feels less overwhelming. Energy becomes steadier. Clarity improves. Rest becomes normal instead of rare. When rest is daily, exhaustion becomes unnecessary. You stop living in extremes of push and collapse. You live in balance. Rest as a daily practice is not about doing less forever. It is about doing enough, then stopping. Stopping allows recovery. Recovery allows continuation. This cycle supports a sustainable life. Rest practiced daily becomes a foundation. On this foundation, work, relationships, and growth become more stable. Without it, everything feels fragile. Daily rest is not optional care. It is basic maintenance. Maintenance keeps systems working. Rest is maintenance for the human system. Practice daily. It quietly protects you from burnout and breakdown. And when rest becomes part of every day, life no longer feels like something you must survive. It becomes something you can move through with steadiness, clarity, and care. Chapter 18. Sleep and Learning. Sleep is one of the most important parts of learning, yet it is often ignored. Many people believe learning happens only when they are awake, reading, listening, or practicing. They treat sleep as lost time, something that steals hours from progress. This belief is incorrect. Sleep is not separate from learning. Sleep is part of learning. When you learn something new during the day, your brain does not fully store it right away. Information enters the brain, but it remains fragile. It is like writing with light ink. Without sleep, much of that information fades or becomes confused. Sleep is when the brain strengthens what you learned and decides what to keep. During sleep, the brain reviews the day's experiences. It sorts information into what matters and what does not. Important details are reinforced. Unnecessary noise is removed. This process happens automatically. You do not need to think about it. You only need to rest. Learning without sleep is inefficient. You may spend many hours studying, but without proper rest, your brain cannot organize what you studied. This leads to frustration. You work harder, but remember less. Sleep turns effort into results. Sleep also helps the brain connect ideas. Understanding is not just about memorizing facts. It is about seeing relationships. These connections often form during sleep, when the brain is free from external input. This is why solutions and insights sometimes appear in the morning. When sleep is missing, learning becomes shallow. You may recognize information, but you do not truly understand it. Focus weakens, memory becomes unreliable. This is not a lack of intelligence, it is a lack of recovery. Sleep supports language learning especially well. Words, sounds, and patterns need repetition and consolidation. Sleep strengthens these patterns. This is why listening and learning feel easier after rest. Without sleep, the brain struggles to absorb new information. Attention span shortens. Distractions increase. Even simple lessons feel tiring. Sleep restores the brain's ability to focus. Sleep also protects learning from emotional interference. Stress and anxiety block memory formation. Sleep reduces emotional intensity, allowing learning to settle without pressure. The brain uses different stages of sleep for different types of learning. Some stages strengthen factual memory. Others support skills and habits. All stages matter. Shortened or interrupted sleep reduces learning quality. Many people sacrifice sleep to study more. This often backfires. Less sleep leads to poorer performance, even if study time increases. Learning requires balance between effort and rest. Sleep also improves recall. Information learned before sleep is remembered more easily than information learned without rest. This is because sleep stabilizes memory traces. When sleep is consistent, learning becomes smoother. You need less repetition. Understanding feels clearer. Confidence increases. Sleep deprivation makes learning stressful. Stress reduces motivation. Reduced motivation makes learning harder. Sleep breaks this cycle. Learning is not only about the brain, it involves the whole nervous system. Sleep restores the system so it can engage fully again. Sleep also supports creativity in learning. Creative thinking helps connect ideas and apply knowledge. Creativity suffers when sleep is missing. Many learners blame themselves when progress feels slow. Often, the real issue is lack of sleep. Rest is not a weakness in learning. It is a requirement. Sleep also helps prevent overload. When too much information accumulates without rest, confusion increases. Sleep clears mental clutter. The brain cannot learn endlessly without pause. Sleep is the pause that allows growth. Learning continues during sleep. Even though you are unconscious, the brain remains active. It reorganizes and strengthens knowledge quietly. This means learning does not stop when you stop studying. It continues as you rest. Sleep also helps learning feel easier. Tasks that felt difficult often feel simpler after sleep. This is not imagination. It is neurological recovery. Good sleep supports long-term learning. It protects memory over time. Without sleep, knowledge fades faster. Sleep also improves emotional attitude toward learning. When rested, curiosity increases. Frustration decreases. This emotional shift matters. Learning with sleep feels sustainable. Learning without sleep feels forced. Sleep also improves test performance, skill development, and problem solving. These benefits are consistent across ages. You cannot replace sleep with more effort. Effort without sleep creates diminishing returns. Sleep teaches patience in learning. It reminds you that growth takes time and cycles. Learning is not a straight line. It moves in steps. Sleep helps complete each step. Ignoring sleep leads to gaps in understanding. Sleep fills those gaps. Sleep also protects against burnout in learning. Burnout stops progress entirely. Rest prevents it. Learning is a long process. Sleep supports long journeys better than exhaustion. Sleep also strengthens confidence. When you remember better, you trust yourself more. Trust improves learning. Doubt blocks it. Sleep helps the brain feel safe enough to explore new ideas. Safety supports curiosity. Without sleep, the brain stays in survival mode. Survival mode limits learning. Sleep returns the brain to growth mode. Growth mode is where learning thrives. And sleep is not time taken away from learning. It is time invested in it. If learning matters to you, sleep must matter too. Rest is part of intelligence. It supports clarity, memory, and understanding. Sleep is a silent teacher. It works while you do nothing. When you respect sleep, learning respects you back. Progress becomes steadier. Understanding becomes deeper. Effort becomes lighter. Sleep and learning work together, not against each other. When you allow sleep to do its work, learning becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural process. Sleep is where effort turns into knowledge, and knowledge grows best when the mind is allowed to rest. Chapter 19. Gentle Endings. Every day needs an ending. Not a dramatic one, not a forced one, but a gentle ending. Without an ending, the day keeps going in the mind, even when the body stops. Gentle endings help the nervous system understand that effort is complete and that rest can begin. Many people move from activity straight into bed without transition. Their body stops, but their mind is still running. Thoughts race, emotions stay active, sleep becomes difficult. This happens because the system was never told that the day was over. Gentle endings provide that message. A gentle ending is a slow shift, not a sudden stop. It is the process of lowering stimulation, reducing demands, and softening attention. This shift allows the body and mind to release the intensity of the day gradually. When endings are rushed or skipped, tension carries over. Muscles remain tight. Breathing stays shallow. The nervous system stays alert. Gentle endings allow these states to unwind. Gentle endings do not require perfection. They require intention. Intention to stop adding more. Intention to slow down. Intention to let the day settle. Many people fill the end of the day with noise, bright screens, fast content, constant input. This keeps the brain active and delays rest. Gentle endings reduce input instead of increasing it. Ending the day gently means choosing quiet over stimulation, dim light over brightness, slow movement over speed, soft focus over sharp attention. Gentle endings signal safety. Safety tells the nervous system that vigilance is no longer needed. This signal allows recovery to begin. The body responds quickly to reduced stimulation. Heart rate lowers, muscles soften, breath deepens. These changes prepare the system for sleep. Gentle endings also support emotional release. Emotions from the day need space to settle. Without an ending, emotions remain unresolved. Gentle endings create that space. Letting the day end does not mean forgetting it. It means placing it down. You can pick it up tomorrow if needed. Tonight, it can rest. Gentle endings also reduce rumination. When the day ends clearly, the mind stops revisiting it. Closure reduces mental loops. Closure does not require solving everything. It requires acceptance that the day is finished. Solutions can wait. Gentle endings can include simple rituals. Changing clothes, washing hands or face, turning off lights gradually. These actions mark transition. Rituals are powerful because they communicate directly with the nervous system. Repeated actions build familiarity. Familiarity creates calm. Gentle endings also involve reducing expectations. You are not required to be productive at the end of the day. Releasing expectations reduces pressure. Pressure keeps the system alert. Gentle endings remove pressure. Many people feel guilty when ending the day early. They believe they should do more. This guilt prevents rest. Gentle endings include permission to stop, permission to not finish everything, permission to be done. Gentle endings support better sleep quality. Sleep arrives more naturally when the system is already calm. Sleep that follows gentle endings is deeper and more restorative. Gentle endings also protect emotional health. They prevent stress from accumulating day after day. Without endings, stress becomes chronic. With endings, stress is released regularly. Gentle endings also improve mornings. When nights are calm, mornings begin with more energy. Gentle endings teach balance. Effort has a beginning and an end. This rhythm prevents burnout. Many people only experience endings when they collapse. Collapse is not an ending. It is a breakdown. Gentle endings prevent breakdown. Gentle endings are a form of care. They say, "You have done enough for now." This message is important for the nervous system. Gentle endings also reduce fear of rest. When rest follows a calm transition, it feels safe. Abrupt endings feel unsafe. Safety supports sleep. Gentle endings help the mind disengage from planning. Planning belongs to daytime. Night belongs to recovery. The mind learns through repetition. Each gentle ending trains it to let go more easily. Over time, the end of the day becomes associated with calm instead of stress. Gentle endings also support emotional boundaries you do not carry. Chapter 20. Drifting into sleep. Drifting into sleep is not something you force, it is something you allow. Sleep arrives quietly, often when you stop watching for it. Many people struggle at this final moment because they try too hard. They want sleep to happen now. This urgency creates tension, and tension keeps the mind awake. Drifting requires softness, not effort. Sleep begins when control is released. During the day, control is useful. You plan, decide, respond, and manage. At night, control becomes an obstacle. The body knows how to sleep. The mind must step aside and let the body lead. Drifting into sleep is a gradual process. It does not happen in a single moment. Awareness slowly fades. Thoughts become less clear. Sensations soften. This gradual fading is natural. Trying to stay alert to it keeps you awake. Letting it happen allows rest to deepen. Many people interrupt this process by checking whether they are sleeping yet. They monitor their state. This monitoring activates the mind. Drifting requires trust. Trust that sleep will come without supervision. The body enters sleep when it feels safe and unobserved. Observation creates alertness. Letting go of observation allows the system to relax. As sleep approaches, the body becomes heavier. Muscles release, limbs feel warm and loose, breathing slows and deepens. These are signs that the system is transitioning. There is no need to analyze them. Analysis brings the mind back into activity. Thoughts may still appear, but they change quality. They become fragmented. Images appear without logic. Memories blend. This is the edge of sleep. Letting these experiences flow without attention allows drifting. Trying to stop thoughts at this stage often wakes the mind again. Allowing them to pass keeps the drift going. Drifting into sleep feels different from falling asleep suddenly. It is more like floating. Awareness becomes soft, not sharp. Time becomes less important. Effort dissolves. Many people fear this loss of control. They feel safer staying alert. This fear blocks sleep. Understanding that drifting is safe reduces resistance. Sleep is not disappearance. It is transition. You are not losing yourself. You are resting. Drifting into sleep is easier when the day has ended gently, when rest has been allowed, when guilt has been released, when the mind has quieted. All previous steps prepare this moment. If drifting feels difficult, the problem is often earlier, not now. Pressure accumulates during the day. Night reveals it. Gentle habits support drifting naturally. The body does not require perfect conditions to sleep. It requires enough safety and calm. Drifting is the signal that these conditions are present. Sometimes sleep does not come immediately. Drifting may pause. This does not mean failure. It means the body needs a little more time. Returning to softness instead of frustration allows the process to continue. Frustration wakes the system. Acceptance keeps it calm. Drifting into sleep also involves letting go of identity for a while. You are not your role, your tasks, or your worries in this moment. You're simply a body resting. Releasing identity reduces mental activity. The night does not ask for performance. It asks for surrender. Surrender is cooperation, not defeat. Drifting is a skill learned through repetition. Each night you allow it, the body remembers. Over time, drifting becomes easier. Sleep does not respond to demand. It responds to invitation. Invitation is gentle. You invite sleep by softening the jaw, by relaxing the shoulders, by slowing the breath. These signals tell the body that it is allowed to rest. Drifting into sleep is also supported by stillness. Movement activates muscles and the nervous system. Stillness allows settling. Stillness does not mean rigidity. It means ease. Comfortable stillness supports drifting. As sleep deepens, awareness dissolves. This dissolution is not dangerous. It is restorative. It allows the mind to reset. Many people try to stay aware as long as possible. This habit delays sleep. Letting awareness fade is part of drifting. There is no prize for staying awake longer. Sleep is not something to win, it is something to enter. Drifting into sleep is easier when you stop labeling the experience. Labeling creates thinking. Thinking creates alertness. Instead of naming sensations, allow them to be. Allowing is less effort than naming. Sleep often arrives when you stop caring whether it arrives. This does not mean giving up. It means releasing urgency. Urgency keeps the nervous system active. Calm allows shutdown. Drifting into sleep feels like letting go of the edges of the day. The sharpness fades. Everything becomes rounder, softer. The body does not need instructions. It has done this many times before. Trusting this memory supports rest. Sometimes drifting is interrupted by sudden thoughts or movements. This is normal. Gently returning to stillness allows drifting to resume. Judging interruptions increases wakefulness. Acceptance reduces it. Sleep does not punish you for difficulty. It waits patiently. Pressure comes from the mind, not sleep itself. Drifting into sleep is the final act of rest. It is where effort fully ends. At this point, nothing more is required from you. You do not need to fix, solve, or plan. You are allowed to disappear into rest for a while. Tomorrow will arrive on its own. You do not need to prepare for it now. The body knows how long it needs to sleep. It will take what it can. Even partial sleep provides benefit. Rest is not all or nothing. Drifting into sleep is easier when you stop expecting a certain outcome. Each night is different. Allow difference. Some nights are deep. Some are light. Both are part of life. Sleep works overtime, not perfection. Drifting is cooperation with gravity, with darkness, with quiet. When you stop holding yourself up, sleep carries you. The moment you stop trying to sleep is often the moment sleep arrives. This is not failure. It is alignment. Drifting into sleep is the body taking over after the mind steps back. It is a gentle handoff. The day has ended. Effort has ended. Rest is no longer something you do. It is something that happens. As drifting deepens, thoughts lose shape. Sensations fade. Awareness softens. You do not need to follow this process. You only need to stop interrupting it. Sleep does not require understanding. It requires permission. Permission to stop. Permission to rest. Permission to drift. When permission is given, sleep responds. Drifting into sleep is not dramatic. It is quiet, subtle, natural. You may not notice the exact moment it happens. That is a sign it worked. The body and mind slip into rest together, without announcement. This is how sleep is meant to come. Not forced, not chased, not controlled, simply allowed. And when you allow it, The night completes its work quietly, restoring you while you are no longer trying to do anything at all. You have reached the end, and there is nothing more you need to do. No lesson to remember, no rule to follow, no effort to make. Everything you heard was not meant to be held tightly. It was meant to soften you. Rest is not something outside of you. It is not a reward you wait for. It is not a state you must achieve. Rest is what happens when you stop resisting your own limits. You do not need to fix today. You do not need to prepare for tomorrow. You do not need to understand everything. The body knows how to recover. The mind knows how to settle. Sleep knows how to arrive. All they ask is space. If thoughts return, let them pass. If tiredness remains, let it be there. If sleep comes, welcome it. If it takes time, allow that too. Nothing is wrong. Rest does not demand perfection. It responds to permission. You are allowed to stop holding everything together. You are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to rest without explanation. The night is doing its work now, quietly, naturally. You do not need to stay awake for it. Let go. Let the body sink. Let the mind loosen its grip. Rest will take over from here.